All right. I'm totally
What's
screwing up
up,
today.
guys? Don't
What's
worry,
going?
man. Could be one of those
Yeah.
days.
How's
Not
it going,
no
everybody,
problem.
man? This is we're back up in there like swimwear and all that good stuff. And this is the Hannibal Lecter franchise part 2. And this concludes the franchise as far as the films go. So
Yeah. This one should be an interesting show because I know Dirk champions one of these films and I champion the other. So it's
yeah.
not to say that we don't dislike the other ones either. But yeah, this is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, man. Like Silence of the Lambs, 1991, and Hannibal 10 years later, come out 2001. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, they're both. I mean, objectively though, what do you think? Like objectively speaking, the
Well, with
superior
both of these
film.
films.
Uh, yeah,
Oh god, you'd have to go with Silence of the Lambs, really, because
right.
of all the awards it won. It's better made in every way. I mean, the cast is better, which we'll come on to. Um,
It's kind of crazy though, because Hannibal had a bigger budget, man, like 87 million. You know,
it
like,
did, yeah.
and they
And I
had a
think
great cast too. It has a great cast too.
that's where it falls apart a little bit with the Julianne Moore. But
Yeah,
oh god, the cast in Hannibal's nothing to be,
no, it's
nothing to
nothing.
be
I
sniffed
mean,
at.
Gary Oldman is
Yeah,
highly fucking underrated, dude. Ray Liotta's a great actor. Rest in peace, by the way, Ray Liotta.
yeah.
Uh, of course, Anthony Hopkins. That goes without saying. Like, I mean,
I
uh,
mean, like with that, it's Hannibal Lecter's not just the only villain in Hannibal. There's two or
no,
three, really, if you think about it.
yeah, Hannibal. You
Mason
know,
Verger being one.
yeah, for sure in the film Hannibal, and even in Silence of the Lambs, I'd say, you know,
Yeah,
with
definitely.
with the warden, Childers or whatever. But
Right. Yeah. Which that comes into play in like really well. I like that scene.
yeah,
But I love I know we're not talking about the film straight off the bat, but I
right.
love the villain as well in Silence of the Lambs. Buffalo Bill, I don't see there ever being anyone that's
And
good in
speaking,
that role,
yeah, I was
you
just
know?
gonna go ahead and get that out the way too. And speaking of Buffalo Bill, like, so he was inspired by from Ed Gein, uh, Ted Bundy, and another guy named Gary Heidnik, who I'd never heard of before. Another serial
No,
killer,
me. No.
and he was like in the New Jersey area back in like '86, I think, when he got caught. But he was like luring women down, and he made a hole in his cellar and put women in this hole, and then he filled the water up, torturing them, and then he would hit them with some kind of electric wire just to shock them while they're in the water. He beat
Shit.
them. Some of them died. A couple of them died, and he cooked them up and fed them to the other women in there. So it's pretty dark. I just found out
That's
about this guy.
insane, man. Do you
Yeah,
know if there's any documentaries or anything on him on YouTube,
I
maybe?
found a interview with a survivor. Her name is Josephine. I can't remember her last name, but it's like a 25-minute interview with her, and that was like, wow, it
Jaw
was,
dropping, probably. Yeah.
yeah, the stuff she was saying, dude, I was tripping out. But yeah, man, we got a few comments in here, man. I know it's Sunday night. It's kind of late for a lot of people. Got James Van Duzen. Good evening, everyone. What's going
What's
on,
up,
man?
man? Yeah, what's up, man?
We got Chris C in here. He says evening all slash that light. Appreciate it, man. He says Hannibal, great film, Ridley Scott. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cheers, Chris.
We got Anthony in here. What's up, fellas? What's going on, man? Yeah,
What's
man.
up, man? Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, dude. It's we talked about this for a while though, doing this franchise. So it's finally getting done. And like I've
Right.
said, I've said it in case nobody's heard it, if they care or whatever. Silence of the Lambs is my fourth favorite film of all time. So
Right. So we are probably just for a bit of fun at the end, do the ranking, what we kind of
yeah,
rank them.
right.
Pound for pound, this one of the best franchises.
It really
There's
is, dude. Like
there's not a
it's
bad film in there. Like
I mean, and nobody really looks at. I mean, it's crazy that they don't look at this as horror. This is straight horror. All these films.
Exactly, it blows my mind. There's so many parts of this you could call a slasher film, like Hannibal. You could call a giallo film for a good like half of it maybe. So
It is kind of, but it's a mixture too of different things, right? Both all the films, I guess, it kind of got the
yeah,
the police procedural kind of shit going on, uh, the investigative aspect. Then it's like in Hannibal, there's like an action scene at the beginning, like
there's a lot going on
but,
in both of these actually.
right?
Silence story is more compact, I'd say, a bit more tighter, because some of the stuff in Hannibal just goes completely off the rails, but I think that's what I like it.
Well, Thomas Harris, though, he wrote the novel Hannibal 11 years after he wrote Silence of the Lambs, right?
Right, yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, and I know, I mean, we'll get into it, but I guess we could let me catch a chat right quick before we get too crazy. Anthony says, looking forward to this conversation. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it should be a good one, man.
Let's see. Chris says, I link all these streams so the community can know. Okay.
Cheers, man. Cheers, Chris.
Yeah. Critics have their heads up their own asses, so they call them thrillers instead of horror. Yeah, man, this is psychological. I would say this is a psychological horror thriller. That's what I would call Silence of the Lambs, to me.
It doesn't get more horrific in some of the scenes in Silence of the Lambs than, I don't know. I would imagine a lot of people got pissed off when that won all the Academy Awards as well. Because
it won 5, dude.
It won I mean,
5,
it was there, wasn't it?
And why are you bringing that up, man? It won 5 of the major categories, and there's only been 3 films that did that.
Right, yeah.
The other 2 was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and what's that other one? There's another one from 1934. But hold on. I think I got it down here. I was just thinking about that. I thought I had it. Damn it. No, I don't got it. Okay. Anyway, I can't think. It's from 1934 though. And that's crazy. Only 3 films won like all the major, best director, best screenplay, best actor, best actress, best picture. So
it's crazy when you think that this was only the 5th highest grossing film worldwide in 1991. I would have thought it would have been even higher than that.
That's insane because it made 272 million, which today that's something else that I thought was interesting about this. So I did the calculation like between both films. It's almost the exact same to today's standard. What they both made. So in 91, it would made 272 million. Today that would be 623 million.
That is insane.
And then so Hannibal made 351 million. Today that would be 623 million. So there might have been a little difference in the thousands and shit, but that's pretty weird.
So Silence was made for 19 million as well.
19 million, yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. There's a lot of good stuff with Silence of the Lambs in the background as well, talking about the different characters, the different actors who are going to play certain parts. There's some eye-opening candidates that were going to be used.
No shit, dude. Like you got, who was it? I know Gene Hackman bought the rights initially.
Right. Yeah.
He bought the rights initially. He wanted to play Jack Crawford, and then once he got into it, he was like, man, I'm out. This shit's too violent. Like it's too much. And I was thinking, what the hell? This dude played in a Bonnie and Clyde film. He was Clyde's brother in the Bonnie and Clyde film. I can't.
Right. That must have been the worst decision he's ever made, because you think about the money they would have made as well. And he kind of bowed out while Ted Talley was writing the screenplay, and he was about halfway through, and he just thought, no, this is too much.
Jodie Foster wanted to buy the rights, but Hackman, and I think it's Orion Pictures, was working with Hackman.
Yeah.
So,
and the director was so he read the novel, and that kind of made him want to jump on board. But in saying about Jodie Foster, she was interested in playing Stalin again after reading the novel, but she just come off winning The Accused like 2 or 3 years previous.
yeah.
And well, I presume you've seen that film. That's fucking horrific.
Yeah, I got that. I have that film, The Accused.
Yeah, that was
not enough people
have
heard about that one. For her, I mean, it's kind of a quiet, but in its day, it was a big deal. You know,
I think the subject matter is probably why that doesn't get brought up a lot.
Right. But
basically,
Foster,
yeah,
you could see like early on, she was bold. She was taking these crazy roles, man. Like, what's that other one where she's a, I mean, Taxi Driver. Hell, she's a 13-year-old prostitute. I mean, then the little girl lived down the lane. Like,
that is another controversial film because that contains a pedophile as well. Right. And I know we've got one in the next film coming up too, but Taxi Driver, that's a great performance, and I think she started to show her potential really early. I think she even did performances before that when she was even more of a child actor as well. But I think you said they were going to try and get Michelle Pfeiffer at one point.
They were gonna, because of the director. We didn't even mention the Jonathan Demme. Rest in peace. He died in 2017. But he, he did Married to the Mob. He did a lot of like comedies. That's what was so weird. Like, you know what I mean?
Right? Yeah. I didn't have nothing down really that I could put.
Yeah, he did a lot of comedies, but he did do The Manchurian Candidate in 2004 with Denzel Washington. That's a pretty good movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But he started his career with Roger Corman in 1974's Caged Heat. It's a women in prison film. So he started out in exploitation with Roger Corman.
Yeah. Pity he didn't stay there, really.
You know that was Roger Corman in Silence of the Lambs, right?
Yeah. He plays Crawford's boss.
Yeah, he's the head director of the FBI.
Right.
So,
yeah. I did. I did kind of recognize
and I also saw that George Romero was uncredited. He's a jailer.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Did you know that? I was like, what?
No.
I didn't know that shit, man. Not at all.
Is that legitimate as well?
It says, yeah. That's what I found out. He's uncredited. George Romero was a jailer in that movie. So.
But no one seemed to be wanting the part of Jodie Foster of Clarice Starling because Laura Dern was considered. I read up, and Molly Ringwald was another one who took an audition and didn't pass.
Ringwald was denied because they thought she was too young looking.
Yeah, she kind of a pretty girl as well. I don't think it would have worked as well.
Right.
Like, because Jodie Foster, even though she's a very attractive woman, she's kind of got something about her that like convinces you to what she's going to go through, and she, you know.
But Laura Dern, they were kind of skeptical on her. You know what I mean? So the final answer was Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster went out of her way to meet with Jonathan Demme and was like, "Look, I gotta have this role." You know, she was very passionate about this role, and so after talking with her, she got it. But I mean, it was like a lot of females, man. Who else was in it? I think it was, I
know Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan,
yeah.
That's the other one. Meg Ryan refused because of the gruesome themes, she said. So yeah, they were all like, no, they all had their crosses up. You know what I'm saying?
I can't imagine Meg Ryan playing that part.
No,
but like I say, no one really wanted it, but she just made it her own. And the part for Hannibal Lecter as well. So Anthony Hopkins was really intimidated apparently by Jodie Foster because she just come off winning the Academy Award a few years earlier. And that kind of blows my mind as well, how good he is.
Yeah, but because she had just won, I guess, that award, but she said the same. She was kind of intimidated by him because he was like a big theater actor, right? And
yeah.
and he like very serious acting with Anthony Hopkins before. And I mean, he initially got the role because of The Elephant Man, though.
That's right. Yeah.
So
And he was in Magic as well, so he had done some kind of horror before.
yeah.
But yeah,
Other
do you see the?
people
Go on.
ahead.
I was gonna say. Go on.
Yeah, other people considered for Hannibal though was Sean Connery. I didn't really see the reason why, but it's probably the same damn reason. They just like read the script and was like, "This is too much," like. And
I think that would have worked actually. Sean Connery,
Connery,
not as good as Hopkins, but
I
I
can't
think
see anybody else in that role. I mean, Brian Cox is good. Don't get me wrong, but still, I still think Hopkins.
Oh no, without a shadow of a doubt, 100%. But I do think Sean Connery would have been interesting. I think he could have pulled it off.
Definitely, and Anthony Hopkins from your neck of the woods, man.
Yeah, he's from pretty much near where I live now.
Right.
So yeah, Wales, just a little town outside of Newport. Yeah, so crazy. Yeah. But everyone knew. I think this was his big one, wasn't it? This was the part that really got him to like worldwide stardom. Really.
He initially thought that this was a children's story. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So he was like 10 pages in, and he said, "This is the best part I've ever read for." Like,
right. Yeah.
That's what he initially said. He also said that he drew inspiration from HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Stanley Kubrick.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I still need to see that one.
Yeah, that's Douglas Rain's voice. Basically, is who he was implementing. Or damn, I'm having mind blanks. Intimidating. Damn. I mean, imitating. Holy shit, I can't talk tonight. What the hell's going on?
Don't worry. It could be
the brain in the mouth ain't working right, man.
So, in terms of Scott Glenn, so he plays Crawford in this, and what he done to get into the part, I don't know if Dirk's got this written down, but he was listening to recordings of these serial killers. One's called Lawrence Bittaker, and the other one was Roy Norris. And what they had done was they were making these recordings of raping and torturing this 16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And he didn't come back in Hannibal because I think he said that, after this film, that's too much, really. So he dies, didn't he? Supposed to be dead by the time Hannibal was made. So
that's true. But he also changed his view. It said that he wept, that he cried over that. And it upset him so bad.
Imagine, yeah.
It upset him so bad from listening to that at Quantico that he changed his view on the death penalty. So
really, wow,
yeah. He was against the death penalty after listening to that shit. He was like, "Oh no."
I mean, that would do it. That would do it definitely. Yeah, you can't imagine listening to that. That must have been so eerie at the time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, it's holy shit, dude. Roger Ebert, man, he said he added this to the great. This should be alongside films like Nosferatu, Halloween, Psycho. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what Roger. I usually I don't agree with Roger Ebert. I do in this case, and but Gene Siskel said that Foster's character was dwarfed by the monsters she's after. He said he'd rather see her on another case.
I completely disagree with that.
No comment. Shit, dude. I was like,
yeah,
what the hell are you talking about, dude? Like,
no, that's what makes the film work so well, is that she's on a par like with the monster.
Right.
She's kind of like, it's a cat and mouse game, isn't it, between the two?
So Empire magazine ranked it 48th out of the 500 greatest films of human existence.
Was that fairly recently then? Yeah.
I don't know how long ago that was actually, but
I can see that. I know you do as well. This is like massive for you,
Yeah.
this film. But I totally get that.
I know this is a touchy subject, or whatever, but I know that the LGBT frowned on the film.
That's right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
feminists frowned on the film as well. Like there was a feminist. What was her name? Dang it! Sorry, y'all. This is right. Betty Friedan. She said she thought it was outrageous that it won so many Oscars, and women are being skinned alive in the film. And I was
Right.
like,
So
I'm thinking, like, do these people even watch the film, or they just heard somebody talk about the film?
I was going to say exactly the same, because it's not even you're not even told Buffalo Bill's sexuality during the film.
No.
The thing I got off it was he despised himself so much that he wanted to become a transsexual, and he wanted to, you know, become into a woman's body. That's kind of what I picked up, but I got no kind of homosexual or anything like that.
But you hear Hannibal talk about it though. He said that he thinks he's a transsexual, but he really isn't. And he says he thinks he's tried to be many things that he's not. He hates himself.
Yeah.
He hates himself so much that he's just confused and shit. Right?
Right. Yeah. I completely agree with that. And you gotta say, you know, Ted Levine's like, what a villain, man. One of the best performances, I think, in that kind of role I've ever seen.
I like that they don't give the whole backstory on him, because they do in the book. You know,
they do. Yeah, there's a few different things in the book and the film I was reading.
Right. Let me catch the chat right quick, man. I don't want to get ignore the chat. Let's see. Where was we at? Let's see. You got Texas in here. What's going on? Hey to the panel of pain. What's happening?
Hey, man? What's up, Tex?
Silence of the Lambs it changed how people saw horror at that time. It became thrillers. Yeah, it won all those awards, and they didn't want to give it its due. You know, they're like, no, this is a psychological thriller.
There was a lot like that though, because
this is a psychological horror thriller.
I mean, you had The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, I think, come a little bit later. You had Fatal Attraction come in the later 80s, and they were all kind of, to me, they were horror films, but you know, I don't know, at that time it seemed
to me this definitely is.
Oh god, yeah, 100%.
Anthony says, I shared the stream, guys. I appreciate it, man.
Nice one. Thanks, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's see. Yeah, this definitely made Hopkins' career. Also made Jodie Foster's career. I mean, she had already won for The Accused, but this film in particular made them megastars, man. It did. It really did.
I know we'll come on to it a little bit later, but you can give your reasons why you think she didn't come back for Hannibal. I don't know if you've read up on that.
I do got a little quote from her, actually.
Okay, you can we can get into that in a bit.
Yeah, I'll talk about it when we get to Hannibal.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off in the comments. Sorry.
Are you good? Let's see. Chris says, seen the opening to The Accused, very brutal and dark. Yeah.
It really is, man. It's shocking film.
Anthony says, the little girl who lives down the lane is an excellent film. Martin Sheen's character is a garbage human being. Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah. It's an interesting film.
Got the wild guys in here. Dirk and Darren, how you guys doing? Doing good, man.
What's up, guys? Yeah.
It's been a great weekend. A nice, relaxing weekend, man. I worked like 60 plus hours this week, so I kind of want to get some
chill out and watch some films, man.
Yeah. Let's see. We got from Parts Unknown, and I think that's Russell, 81MC. Let me know if that's Russell.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hey,
man?
What's up, man? What's up?
Let's see. Howard Shore's score in Silence of the Lambs definitely is, man. Yeah, that's why I was amazing. Like, some of the clips that I have, I had to separate the music because I don't know how I know this is a big movie, you know, and hopefully we don't get hit with nothing.
So. Did he win the Academy Award as well for the music?
I believe the score did. I believe it won, man. It won 5. let's see. I thought I had them. So best picture, best director, best actor, best actress, best screenplay. But I heard Tim Lucas, Tim Lucas was saying something that it won an award. So
it might have been Golden Globes. I know they did a lot with the Golden Globe Awards as well. So it won a bunch of awards all throughout, really.
Right. Let's see. Hannibal was a good movie, but the book is so different. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was something that, so I saw when we get into Hannibal, but I'll go ahead and mention it now. Anthony Hopkins said he wasn't sure if he was going to do Hannibal at first because, he said he was hesitant. He said because it was so bizarre. It was just like, like he didn't know if he was actually, but he ended up doing it, of course. But let's see, for Parts Unknown, Manhunter, Brian Cox. Yeah, definitely. And by the way, since we're bringing that up, we have covered. So if y'all haven't seen it, anybody watching this, checking it out, we covered Hannibal Rising, which technically is first as far as the story goes. Then we covered Red Dragon and Manhunter and Red Dragon. So that was the first part. This is part 2. So check out
unofficially give our rankings, because I always keep saying 4. I always think there's 4, but obviously there's 5 in the series. I think I said 4 earlier on.
And then I don't know if you want to do it or not. I don't know if it's worth doing the series, the show, but there's also another show called Clarice. I haven't seen all of it. I've seen a little bit of it, but I don't know.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah. I think I remember when that came out a few years back, but no, I've not seen any of that.
Right.
In terms of reviewing a TV series, it'd be difficult getting the time to do that, really.
Yeah.
Unless we did like just an overview, watch the whole series over amount of time and do an overview. That could be a possibility.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's coming anytime soon, though, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Not anytime soon for sure. But yeah, man. I guess we could get into the film, huh? Since we done.
Yeah. Like we say, we've done a lot of the background early doors. So yeah. I just want to show these off. I know Dirk, because I sent Dirk a copy of this. I don't think you'll ever get a better release, to be honest. The 4K Arrow.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, dude.
No worries, man.
Darren sent me this, man. This is an awesome release. I watched every damn thing, all the special features on this Arrow release, man. It is.
It looks amazing.
It is a lot of shit on here, man. I mean, I spent all day yesterday watching that release, everything on.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and show this too, man. It's so badass.
Go for it.
Which I know everybody's seen it, but still, it's pretty damn cool. Comes with that.
Yeah, I like that poster, man.
In the reverse.
That's the better one, though.
Yeah, I like all that shit.
I don't ever hang any of them up.
No, I don't either. It goes right back in the box.
Yeah.
Pretty good thick book too, man.
Nice, yeah.
Pretty thick book. So, but
I think it was on sale recently as well. I think even like less than what I paid for them. So
okay.
I think you can get it for like 25, 30 pounds.
It's definitely worth it. I highly recommend it. And it I also got the Kino release.
Nice, man. Yeah.
It's not as loaded.
Extras, yeah.
It's not as loaded, no. It's a good release though. It comes with the Blu-ray and the 4K. So.
Oh, okay.
But no, the Arrow's definitely the superior release.
I've got the old MGM 2-disc DVD, and I know there's quite a lot of features on here as well, which are different. So, I mean, if you just wanted to get a film, you could probably pick it up cheap. But I highly recommend it to get that Arrow, though. I would.
Yeah, the Criterion release too. I don't have it though. I never did get it. I should have got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you mentioned you were going to get that at one point, didn't you? Yeah, I remember you saying that.
But no, the Arrow is fully loaded. It's got 2 commentaries. It's got one with Tim Lucas, and then it's just packed with shit. Dude, it's got a Bravo episode on there that's like 41 minutes. They took all the commercials out, of course, you know.
Nice, man.
So
yeah, I heard a little bit of the Tim Lucas commentary. I didn't hear it all the way through.
Right.
But that guy, man, he puts everything into those commentaries. Outstanding.
But no, man, I would say that I would say that Hannibal is like the maestro. He's like the orchestrator villain. He likes to help people. You know what I'm saying? Like he helps killers come into their own, you know. But at the same time, it's weird in Silence though, because at the same time, he's helping Clarice. It's like he gets into her mind though. Like he toys with people. He creeps in there, slips in there, and they don't ever forget about him. They don't ever forget about him. So
I think there's some kind of sexual attraction there as well. Not on her part, by the way, on his part. For sure. I don't think it's just the fact that
I think it's a mixture of things. I think maybe her innocence, and he can see that she's really pure and she's really believes in what she's doing, unlike the rest of the bureau, is how he looks at it, you know.
Yeah, it's knowing the fact that her background is really bad. Her upbringing was quite bad.
She had a really bad past as well as him, you know. It's similar to his past in a way, kind of. You know.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
but no, man. He also helps. You know, like he helped Dollar Hyde. You know, he helped.
Yeah.
He helps Buffalo Bill. You know, and he's helped a lot of people. You hear Jack Crawford. There's a deleted scene on this release too, where you hear Jack Crawford talk about all the court cases he went to, and he got all these people off. Like he said, there's no telling how many killers he set free, just from his. Just from his. That's a scene should have been in the film. I was like, what the hell? That's when they're in the car talking, you know.
Yeah. That could have. Yeah, it could have made the director's cut maybe or something.
Yeah.
And put that in.
But you want to get to some clips right quick, man?
Yeah, man, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll play a clip. This is a clip Darren wanted, so I said, all right, we can do it. So here we go, man.
Morning.
Dr. Lecter, my name is Clarice Starling. May I speak with you?
You're one of Jack Crawford's, aren't you? Why do you think he removes their skins, Agent Starling?
It excites him. Most serial killers keep some sort of trophies from their victims.
I didn't.
No, you ate yours.
Look at the blood! Gotcha! You stupid fuck! Agent Starling! Come down! Agent!
That scene is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
That's the scene I was talking about. I had to remove the music, man. I was like, it's just too heavy right there. I was like, man. So
yeah, when he says that, and like Hannibal don't even make no kind of reference to what I think he mentions about what he said, but he doesn't elaborate on it. And then the guy's called Miggs, and then you got the whole thing then with Hannibal Lecter gets into his head and forces him to eat his own or swallow
his own tongue. Yeah.
Man, just as like retribution for doing that to Jodie Foster or Clarice, I should say. It's it's one hell of a like opening scene, I think.
Definitely. And he's
go on.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, getting into the story, I think everyone pretty much knows the basis of this story. Is got Clarence Starling. She's like an FBI trainee, and she's training. You know, she's doing all the assault courses and trying to go up the ranks to become an FBI agent. And she's picked out by Crawford, who kind of wants her to do a certain thing, but he won't tell her outright what it is. He wants her to go and see Hannibal Lecter and basically get some information of how they can catch Buffalo Bill, who's this serial killer, and he's going around skinning women, abducting and skinning women and all that. But that's just like kind of the opening, just to set it up.
Yeah, it's because you got a thing like Manhunter, right? Or Red Dragon, whichever you want to go to. Like, so Hannibal's been locked up for 8 years now. So, in this one,
yeah.
And but yeah, he's helping. Like Jack Crawford throws her in there, uses her for bait, pretty much.
And she doesn't know at first that obviously they're trying to get information out of him in regards to Buffalo Bill, but she thinks she's just there to just do an update on him, see how he's doing, and all that. But it's kind of genius from Crawford if you think about it, because there's no way Hannibal Lecter would have opened up to anyone else but Clarice. She's a beautiful, very attractive young lady at the time, and that kind of, I think, the initial kind of attraction was there.
And then she gets mad at Crawford too, because like she's like, "Why didn't you let me know? I'd like to be in on this." And he's like, "I couldn't let you know. He would have known that you knew." Basically,
exactly.
That's how superior his intelligence is.
Right.
Crawford knows that. So
right, exactly. He's one step ahead. And I think like early on as well, you get the kind of scenes with Buffalo Bill. So in Crawford's office, there's like a whole like wall full of like newspaper cuttings, and when he calls her to come up to the room and they have a chat, and she's kind of gobsmacked by what she sees through crime team photos and all that. It's,
what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think on this idea though? Okay, so like I've seen this movie a lot, man. I could kind of get into that a little bit. So back in 1991, I saw this in the theater. And of all people, my mother's the one that took me to see this movie. So she loved like mystery kind of thrillers and stuff back then. Not so much now, but we went and seen Silence of the Lambs, and man, I was blown away. And it's always been they hadn't really moved from that theater experience. Like watching it at home's cool, but in the theater on the big screen, especially toward the end, like in the darkness, it's like complete darkness for like 3 seconds, right? And then
we're gonna show a clip of that in a bit.
Yeah,
I think.
I got a good clip of, but
it's an amazing.
It's just different in the theater, man. It's a big nostalgia, but I really think this is a perfect film. I really do. I don't see nothing wrong with this movie, like no flaws. I don't see any.
Yeah.
To me, I don't see anything that could be better, or you know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I agree. For me, there's 3 films in this series, like we'll mention later, and they're all 9s out of 10s, and it is like literally like a hair between all 3. And obviously this is one of them. But so.
But what do you?
Go on.
No, I kind of got off track what I was initially going to say, but
that's okay, man.
What do you think on this idea though? So like with Miggs, right? He can't physically eat anyone now because he's incarcerated, Hannibal.
Right. Yeah.
But he eats Miggs' mind, and makes him psychologically makes him kill himself, basically. And then when Starling comes to visit him the next time, he starts saying sexual shit. And she even says that's the type of thing Miggs would say. So have you ever thought of that? Like, you are what you eat kind of deal?
Yeah. I thought he kind of gets in his head for retribution because of what he said. But like you say, that seems kind of funny in the fact that he does.
Because he starts talking like asking Starling about Jack Crawford. Do you think he has these scenarios of fucking her? And you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess there's like some code of like conduct, really, because going as far as to throwing semen in her face was probably one step too far, because Lecter would never like stoop that low.
No, but I'm saying the personality of Lecter though is similar to Miggs in a way.
Yeah.
with him, the way he's talking to Starlin. I don't know, that just seems like that's you are what you eat kind of shit. I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
Right, yeah. You
Because he
don't
can't
kind of,
physically eat nobody anymore. You know.
yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's an interesting point.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's kind of out there. But
And then like she gains his like confidence, then he starts giving her clues. And the first clue is a great one where she goes to this kind of garage lockup.
oh yeah,
And the reveal in that is kind of like really eerie as well.
yeah. He tells her to go to see what Mrs. Moffat or something like
Yeah,
at
which
that
is like
locker,
an anagram as well. It is.
and then she
So
finds a head in a jar.
the head of Benjamin Raspill, who's a former patient of
Right.
Lecter's, but Lecter claims he didn't kill him, but he knows who does.
He knows who did it, and he's kind of like he just manipulates, and it's like a big game to him in a way, you know, like.
It is,
But at
yeah,
the same time, Lecter's truly free versus the rest of the world.
right, because he's living a completely different, like isolated kind of existence where his intelligence is so high and for detail as well, where he can literally memorize this place in Florence that he paints just through clear memory. And like I think it's hinted on early on as well that his sense of smell is above everyone else's.
And he's always reminding. He knows Starlin. She's graded high too. Her intelligence is high too.
Right.
But he's always reminding her that she is in the constricts of the FBI. You know.
Right. And he's always one step ahead as well. And I do feel he does feel he's, even though she's gained his confidence, he does feel far superior to anyone at this stage, like on the planet.
I mean, do you think that this is a misogynistic film though? Like, I really don't. I know that all the men, and that's something else we could talk about, right? The way that it's shot. So it's all shot. Everybody's looking directly into the camera. So it kind of puts us, the audience, in the role of Starlin, and the camera's low too. It's done on purpose, you know.
Yeah.
But when it shows Starlin, she's always looking off, like slightly off. She looks off in the camera a couple times in the film, but not like everybody else. Everybody else is looking directly at us when we're watching the movie, you know.
Yeah, there's that scene as well early on where she gets in a lift to go up and see Crawford.
Yeah.
And the guys in the lift are all like 6 foot plus, and she looks really tiny. And that kind of gives
They did it on purpose, though.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah,
she's completely out of her element, you know.
Yeah.
And if anything, I would think that women would like this movie. I don't know. For the character.
I mean, I can see. I mean, I don't see how the lesbian and gay community got, really upset with it. I think it's more of in the lines of Cruising was a film that come out, good like 13 years before. And I can see why they got upset with that. But this one, no. But in terms of being a feminist kind of, I don't know. I think it plays out just like a normal film. I didn't really look into it that much with those aspects, but
it just kind of tripped me out, that review that I had read. They were kind of, this was like years later though, a few years later after the film came out. People started.
Yeah. I can see how people would think that, but personally, no. You've got the character there, and you've got Dr. Frederick Chilton. He's in charge of where Hannibal Lecter's staying, and he's like some complete piece of shit, man. He's like a really low barrel kind of guy.
He's all about himself, basically.
And he comes on to Starlin as well, doesn't he? At one point, he says he wants to take her out. Does she want someone to take her out around the city? And
that's another thing. All the men are coming on to her. You know, well, not all of them, but a lot of the men. And if they're not coming on to her, they're like winking at her and shit. So I did see the director said that he did that on purpose to show like what women go through or whatever daily.
I was going to say at that time, this would have been true. Very like accurate. way of how things was. You know, I
Right.
know things nowadays men can't get away with half the shit they used to be able to pull in those days. But yeah, this is a very, I think, yeah, very realistic look on how it would be, you know, for an upcoming FBI agent, especially surrounded by men as well. But I don't know, she excels.
And she's small. She's you know, I don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
but
But in terms of, you know, that discovery early on in the garage, we find out that there's another victim as well in Clay County in West Virginia, and they find this victim with like a death's head moth lodged in her throat, which has become basically his calling card. You know, every serial killer's got a little thing they do, or most of them have anyway. And yeah, so she's on the case of trying to get, you know, find out who Buffalo Bill is through Hannibal Lecter. But it sets the film up amazingly well for what's to come, I think. Because we kind of get all these flashbacks as well when she's young, and you hear the story that she told Hannibal Lecter of being orphaned. I think she'd run away at one point. But that's where the title of the film comes in. I don't know if you want to say about that, Dirk. Silence of the Lambs.
No, you're good. Jack Crawford warned her, though, not to share none of her personal business with Hannibal Lecter. And
right, and she does, doesn't she? Yeah.
She does it straight away, like, he gets off in there, dude. He gets off in that head. Like, you know.
He does that weird game, didn't he? That
but he's a psychiatrist, you know? So it's like,
yeah.
You know, it's like Fulci's nightmare, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine that shit? But I wonder what Fulci thought about Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, well, he would have only been alive for another 5 years after this was made.
I know. I'm just saying he hated psychiatrists, you know. So
yeah. And he's a doctor as well. And he's a surgeon. He can do pretty much anything. Lecter can.
He's multi-talented, skilled. You know, like.
Yeah. But do you want to say how the title of the film come about with that scene?
Go ahead.
So she was young. She'd run away after being orphaned, and as she was running away, she heard kind of these screams in the barn on the farm where she was at. And in going in the barn, she'd seen all these screaming lambs, and they're about to be killed, you know, slaughtered. So she said, literally, the Silence of the Lambs is where that heading came from. But it's weird how he plays that game with her. Where
he's always like has the screaming stop, because she reveals to him she tried to save one of the lambs, right?
Right. So.
He's saying that, do you think that the screaming's going to stop once you save the
Catherine? We'll mention now in a bit. She's so Buffalo Bill, he always goes for heavy set girls, you know, because he likes to starve them for a few days and then he skins them. And it's revealed a little bit later on as well that he used to be a tailor, and he's trying to make this suit out of women's skin, which is crazy, like, you know, and that's where the Ed Gein thing comes in.
That's the Ed Gein thing, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Ed Gein dug up women and gutted them and skinned them, made lampshades out of their skin, shit like that, you know, like dressed up like a woman too. Ed Gein did. So
yeah, with a Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing as well going on with Leatherface.
Right. Psycho, you know.
Yeah.
But
we do. It takes a while to get till we really get to see Buffalo Bill, but when we do, man, some of the scenes are crazy.
But like when Hannibal told her to go to that locker, though, and to see, he wanted to know how she felt when she looked and seen that jar, right? And
right.
She says she was scared and exhilarated at the same time. So it's kind of like, what the hell, you know? Like, it's
the thrill of the chasers. Yeah, it you know, I can imagine. So it's kind of knowing she's
kind of. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's her knowing that she's kind of one step closer to finding out, you know, who Buffalo Bill is. That's why I think it's like exhilarates her. But no, you're good. Go on.
Yeah, I think he sees something in her that's similar to himself, though.
I do as well. Yeah. That without a shadow of a doubt. There's the whole high intelligence. I know we said that earlier, but
Right.
yeah, definitely. But looking at Buffalo Bill's place where he's staying at, so he's breeding all these kind of moths, these butterflies,
They're
and that
imported
whole
from
place,
Africa, right?
Africa or Asia,
Asia.
yeah. And the whole his place is this dingy, grimy, fucking.
It's like a dungeon.
Man, yeah.
Damn near.
And
But
weirdly
on the
enough,
outside, it looks like fucking Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah. Like weirdly enough, that house was on sale in 2015 for $300,000.
Yeah.
And I think it eventually got sold for $195,000, which, I mean, would have been a good investment, I would say, for people, you know, to turn up in their droves and kind of get photos taken and all that. I don't know if they're doing that with it.
Yeah, you could set up like a bed and breakfast, or
it would pay for itself. Yeah, it would certainly pay for itself. But yeah, it's like you say, it's kind of you look at the house on the outside and you just think it's a kind of big, kind of plush place. But
check this out though. Some of the people that were like, I know we touched on a little bit. We said Sean Connery earlier, but here's some other names that could have played that were asked to play Hannibal. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, Derek Jacobi, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Forrest Whitaker.
Right. So the first three of them are all really small men as well.
Yeah.
I don't know the size of the others, but yeah, that's kind of interesting. I don't think Pacino would have worked at all. I don't know.
I just can't see nobody playing it, right? I just can't. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, Sean Connery would be the closest I think that could have maybe pulled it off. But with those three, they're so well known. Because Hopkins wasn't that well known.
No, he wasn't known.
This.
Neither was Foster. That works. Really. Foster was known, kind of.
Yeah. She was literally known as like a child actor more, really.
Right.
But
I wonder too. So watching it, I had never really thought about it until this watch, though. Like, so I was like, so hold on, hold on. Let me get to the chat right quick. Make sure I'm not. We got Texas saying Brian, Mr. McDonald's Cox. Okay, yeah. Real name is Hans. Okay. That's what's up, man. Jodie Foster's second film was the roller derby film Kansas City Bomber with Raquel Welch. She played her daughter. Okay, I haven't seen that one.
I've not seen that one, no.
Let's see. Had my name changed back to my birth name, Hans Werner Schumacher. Okay, awesome.
So, you German then? So, obviously, that's a German name.
Yeah, definitely German. Let's see. Had to change everything. I got you.
That's Russell, yeah?
I think so. I thought so.
Okay.
I thought it was. Yeah. Great name, Russell. That's what Chris saying. Okay.
Yeah, man. I would have kept the original name.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. Hell yeah. Let's see. I'm having a friend for dinner. Yeah.
That's a great line. There's a few of these coming up as well. There's a couple in Hannibal too. He comes out with some great,
81 MC means outlaw bikers. Okay. Alan says, thank goodness they went with Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, man. Like, I can't see nobody else playing that role, man. Not even Sean Connery.
Not to that level. No, not to that level. No, I agree.
I'll play another clip, man. And it's like one of the most, I mean, dude, there's so many quotable lines in this film. You know what I mean? Like, it really is.
Yeah, I love the quote.
This is the most famous, most iconic. I mean, it just is. Here we go.
But are you strong enough to point that high-powered perception at yourself. What about it? Why don't you look at yourself and write down what you see? Maybe you're afraid to.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
That scene, you can't put your finger on why, but it is so fucking disturbing to me. Anyway,
his whole
that's
demeanor,
one of them.
dude, like it's
Yeah,
so chilling. He don't blink. You know what I mean? Like he's
right.
but it's like he
Yeah.
said, he's speaking kind of like the damn computer in 2001: A Space Odyssey, but in human form. You know?
Right, yeah. I think they mentioned where he kills a nurse as well, where his heartbeat doesn't go under 85.
Right.
In some of these really criminal acts he's been doing. I think his body counts up to like 14 by the time Hannibal comes along.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a performance, man. But we've got to come onto the scene now where Buffalo Bill abducts. I think it's the senator's daughter, Catherine.
Yeah.
And I think you said earlier there's a combination of different serial killers, and he does the old Ted Bundy thing where he gets her into the back of this van, you know, to give him help.
Yeah, he's wearing the cast.
Yeah,
and he's like acting like he's a victim, like he's struggling with the couch and shit, right?
Yeah, there's such a powerful scene as well. There's another scene which I absolutely fucking love, right? So he takes her back to this, you know, he puts her in this hole, like you said. And they're talking about, he's talking about putting the lotion on.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, go on, play the clip.
It rubs the lotion on its skin. It does this whenever it's told.
Mister, my family will pay cash. Whatever ransom you're asking for, they'll pay it.
It rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
Yes, you will, precious. You will get the hose.
Okay.
Now it places the lotion in the basket.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket!
Honestly, that scene, even watching it now, I got like goosebumps, man. It fucking chills me. Just the way he says, put the fucking lotion in the basket, man.
Yeah. He's got an odd voice. He, you know, speaking of that, Ted Levine did the voice for Joyride. He's Rusty Nail. Have you ever seen Joyride?
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's Rusty Nail on Joyride. Yeah.
Man, because I'd seen him in the Hills Have Eyes remake. And when I first saw that film, I had no fucking clue that was Ted Levine. Because he looks completely different. Obviously, he looks bald. And
he plays so many different roles, man. He plays a lot of cops, too, though. Like, The Mangler's his best performance, though, by far.
The Mangler?
No.
I know, yeah. I was going to say, what the fuck, man? But he's in that, yeah?
Yeah.
I just think there's a combination between fucking Anthony Hopkins, Jodie Foster, and Ted Levine in this film. That
even Scott Glenn. I think he's
I
think he's solid.
I personally prefer the Crawford from Manhunter.
Yeah.
Slightly, because that was a real cop.
I don't know if that Crawford would work in silence, though.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because maybe not.
It's weird because every Crawford's played so different too, you know.
It is, yeah. And you can see why they kind of killed off the character, because he wanted to keep with the same guy, so he wanted this guy as well for the next one. But when he said no, he didn't want to kind of have a different fucking Crawford for every film, which would have been really weird. Because the Bad Lieutenant guy plays him in Red Dragon, doesn't he? Harvey Keitel. So yeah, so it would have maybe. I'm glad they didn't go that route with Hannibal, but they're all interesting, the portrayals of the character, I will say.
Right.
But that scene, I fucking love that scene, man. You just played.
I want to show you one that I love, though. Like it's one
Yeah,
of my
man, go
there's
for
so
it.
many good scenes in Silence, man, and I gotta say, I'm sorry, y'all. This is the most clips I've ever done. So, but here we go, man. I got this scene here, dude. As soon as I'm gonna talk about it. Like, here we go.
Yeah.
Memphis General, this is Medical Unit 26. The vital signs are good. Pressure is 130 over 90. Yeah, that's pulse 84. We got him on lactated ringers running, and the patient is on 10 liters of oxygen.
That's the
Man.
damn oh shit. That's the oh shit moment. When I was in the theater, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
That has to be inspired by Texas Chainsaw. Well, Ed Gein, obviously, but yeah.
yeah, but
Man.
like where he acts dead though on the floor. So I was wondering if James Wan got the idea for Jigsaw in Saw, right?
Very possibly, yeah. Would not surprise
Jigsaw's
me.
laying on the floor, not for the face thing, but he's laying on the floor the whole damn time, dead.
Yeah.
You know, and I know he's not dead in this, but still, that could spark an idea. You know, and
It's just the whole way where he takes out those two guys and the way he's like fucking like almost whipping them in a way. Like it's just
very.
so
and listen to his damn opera music and shit while he's doing. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like,
Because we didn't mention to get to this point where he's put in this cage. So he does a deal with Chilton or the deal with Jodie Foster. He realizes is not a real deal, where she mentions to him he could go on this beach and he could live and he could like literally go and
Anthrax
ski
Island, right?
yeah, once a week, Anthrax Island. That's it.
That's what
yeah.
he calls it. Yeah. Like,
But that little shit of a guy, you know, Frederick Chilton, he kind of gives him another. He tells him that she lied, and he gives him another option, and that's why he's in that cage. But yeah, the way he takes out those guys is incredible.
That's pretty close. That might be my favorite scene though. Like how he gets away, the whole escape, and like it's
there's so many though, isn't there? Like you say,
it's brilliantly done though. Like how he gets out of there. Like they think that he's the damn fucked up cop, you know. Like,
and what do you think the symbolism is the way he holds that guard up, like almost like fucking, I don't know, is it like Jesus or?
Yeah, he's crucified.
Yeah,
he's crucified. He made him an angel too. Like you see, it looks like an angel wings and shit. You know.
I actually thought when I first seen it, it was kind of like a moth. Maybe whether
that too,
could have been that as well. Yeah. So there's all different meanings.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great scene because he gives Chilton the false name, doesn't he? A name of Louis Friend. He says who Buffalo Bill is.
Yeah.
And then they go down that kind of rabbit hole. But that is another anagram as well, which Stalin works out.
Yep.
But yeah, that's an anagram of iron sulfide, I believe. Also known as Fool's Gold. She goes there to see him in Tennessee where he is, you know, in the cage.
She's pissed off, and then he, you know, they're going back and forth about it a little bit, but then he's still playing, he's still toying the whole time. He's in a cage, but he's holding all the cards. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
he steals the pen, which gets him to where he can escape, you know, to pick the lock, which is kind of genius. He steals Chilton's pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's such a great scene.
Chris says, you don't know what pain is.
Yeah. For me, as much as I love Anthony Hopkins in this scene, but just Ted Levine just fucking completely knocks it out the park, man. And but all three of them just play off each other so well. Yeah. You do this to me every time because you got me kind of thinking this is the best film in the series now. Like my favorite film in the series, but yeah, it'd be interesting.
It really is though.
You can't think of anything bad about it, really.
No.
Which kind of makes my rating, because I was going to give this a 9, but now,
Right.
yeah, I can't even, yeah, I cannot not give it a 10, really. But yeah,
Let's see. We got Scratch Burno in here, man. What's going on? He says,
oh, what's up, man?
well, say it, don't spray it, brother. Dang. Yeah, man. Parts unknown. Hello, Alan. Anthony Hopkins. Yes. Life is pain. Pain is everything. You must learn.
Yeah.
Hey, the more silence, the better. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Silence is golden.
Yeah,
yeah.
it certainly is.
Yeah, got the dead guard on top of the elevator. Yeah, man, it's brilliant how he did everything. And it's like he's not panicking. He's just cool, calm, and collected the whole no matter what he's doing. Like he's always, you can't fucking rattle him at all, you know?
I know you got to suspend disbelief in some of it, but it's all logical. This, the way it's done and the way it's written, it could logically happen, But
yeah, that's why Crawford even mentions to Starling, because she says, can the guys in Tennessee handle Lecter? And he said they're going to use their best, but they better be paying attention, right?
Right. Yeah.
So because you make one slip and you're done. So
that's because when he escapes, that's where Stalin then gets, or the FBI gets hold of his notes then, and they kind of realize that Buffalo Bill knew his first victim. She was a girl called Frederica Bimmel.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much she and, like I mentioned earlier, Buffalo Bill worked together, and they were tailors at one point. So they're kind of putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. And they both come up with like different, so Clarice goes to a different property, pretty much, through a hunch. And then they go to Buffalo Bill's other house at the same time. And again, Dirk has got another great clip coming up where we see what happens with that.
Yeah, man. I got a couple more. I do want to mention something that Tim Lucas, I got to point out Tim Lucas, some of his stuff.
Yeah.
Because I watched it with his commentary, and he brought up some good stuff, man. So he said Thomas Harris was influenced from Argento.
Okay.
He said they both stress the act of murder as an expression on the art of cinema. Harris's serial killers do what they do is a metaphor for what Argento achieved with his films. They challenge the meaningless destruction of death with the intention, the creation of artistic expression. Dollarhide with the reporter showing him slides, making him keep his eyes open, or he'll staple his eyelids to his forehead. It's similar to Argento's 1987 opera.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then I would even go a little further. Lucas didn't say this. I'm saying this. I'd go a little further and say Kubrick's Clockwork Orange with Alex DeLarge.
Yeah, which I think we mentioned last time, didn't we?
Being having to force to see the ugly truth, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure if we mentioned opera last time. I think we may have as well. But yeah, definitely you can see where the influence come in. Yeah.
But I thought that was cool. He gave some props to Argento, and he was saying that like he definitely, Thomas Harris. So Manhunter came out in 1981, the book.
Right. Yeah.
And Argento was doing shit like Bird with the Crystal Plumage hit here at 70, right? 71, 70.
Right. So you've just got me thinking now. That's obviously why he went the route he did with Hannibal then, because Hannibal's like a giallo in places.
Yeah.
So maybe that's another influence of Argento. Probably, now thinking about it.
And Lecter loves the Italian culture, right?
Yeah. Florence is... Well, we'll come on to that when we come on to Hannibal, but yeah, right. Florence is a place that he does, kind of gets drawn to it in certain
Tim Lucas is great, by the way, man.
That I only listened to the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the guy, just his attention to detail in every, because I've heard quite a few of his commentaries on the Bava stuff as well. Yeah, he's
I
amazing.
love seeing, you know, these like Argentos and these guys get some recognition though, you know.
Oh God, absolutely. I think that's why I like these films so much, because you can see different touches. The Italian influence comes in, you know, certainly with all the slashes that would have come as well in the 80s.
Right.
There's big influence in the Italian kind of film industry in general, you know.
Here's a pretty controversial clip, man. And I got two more, and but here's a pretty controversial one. And here we go with it. So,
Are you up there, you little shit?
Would you fuck me?
Come on, take that bone. Come on.
I'd fuck you, man. I'd fuck you so.
Right, I didn't know where you were going with that clip then, because I thought you might show the whole thing, but
no, he's got a
scene...
scalp. You notice that's somebody's scalp on his head. Like you can see the skin.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't notice
That's a
that.
woman's scalp that he's put on his head. Yeah.
Shit. That scene alone, because when you see the full version of that scene where he touched himself, you know, yeah. And there's a whole backstory to that as well. So they find out the guy's name is James Gum, and he believes that he is a transsexual, but he did apply to become have a sex change operation, but he was turned down for being too violent. So there's a big kind of understory with that as well. But that scene is disturbing.
But don't you think that Hannibal is like triggered these people? Like he sets them over the edge, some of these killers. Like with his his psychiatry, right? Like,
I mean, and like you say with Hannibal Lecter as well, he does do good, because what he does to a certain character in the next film, Verger, which we'll come on to, is, you know, deemed like the guy's a child molester, and a lot of people would see that in a good way. What he
does to him.
What he makes him do. But what's so funny about those scenes with Buffalo Bill is how attached to his dog Precious he is. Yet he's got no fucking regard for any female or any human for that matter, you know. But he's attached to Precious, his little dog, which is crazy.
But you notice he's only killing women. Well, no, he did kill that Benjamin guy, right?
Yeah.
So
I was going to ask you the question as well. I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't know if you thought about this too much as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, he was James. So James Gunn was a patient of Hannibal Lecter's. How much do you think Hannibal Lecter knew? Do you think he knew the whole story up until this point? But he obviously did know he killed that one guy through, you know, putting the head in that garage.
Yeah.
But, so you think he knows everything. He knows it's definitely Buffalo Bill doing all this.
Yeah. No doubt about it. And also they, you know, I was listening. Somebody said, I don't know, so I can't credit them, but whoever you are, big shout out. I watched a lot. I got a lot of information this like yesterday, man. Just the dude's name, James Gum. His name sounds incomplete. You know?
Yeah.
Like he's incomplete. Like he don't know what he is. He's trying to transform into something.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, James Gum.
James
Gum. Sounds like his name's not complete. Like you know what I mean?
like him as a person. But
yeah,
do you think Hannibal Lecter was a part of these early murders then, with Buffalo Bill?
I don't think he took part in it. No.
Right, because it's not said, but it's kind of open to.
I think he likes to create though. Like I think he likes to plant his little seed and twist somebody's mind. But if he sees something bad in somebody, he's gonna do his worst. You know what I mean?
So Buffalo Bill was going to him and telling him everything what he was doing.
Right.
Hannibal Lecter, obviously, you've got patient confidentiality, haven't you? You can't
Right.
really say even. Yeah, so maybe that was going on, but I always thought that was kind of interesting that his patient. But yeah, he must have told him all about the deadhead moths and all that, and he just knew straight away.
Right. We'll see. We got from Parts Unknown, line from class of 1984.
Okay, I love that film.
Yeah, great movie. Cool facts, Dirk. Appreciate it, man. William Peterson had a small role in Thief, favorite James Caan film. Thief's fucking great. It's a brilliant film, man.
I think William Peterson's he's not as good as
Yeah.
Jodie Foster, but I don't think he's far behind.
He's really damn good, man. I mean, he was on 15 seasons of CSI for a reason, right? You know,
yeah.
9 seasons.
Personally, my favorite protagonist of all these films is William Peterson, but I know yours is obviously going to be Jodie Foster. And I
don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I kind of I kind of like Graham. You know, I don't take nothing from Starlin, but I like Graham. I like the way he goes through the process, and then you're kind of on the fence. Is he a psycho too? You know,
Yeah.
But I do like Starlin, of course. But but definitely my favorite character is Hannibal. So.
Oh God, yeah, that goes without saying.
But let's see.
I got like a favorite character in Hannibal, like the next one as well. We're gonna mention.
Steve Mayer says, "Greetings, Dirk, Darren, and Fleet friends at Subjective Perspective Collective. Appreciate you.
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah,
and I appreciate everybody hanging out, man. Like we've had a good crowd in here tonight. It's cool.
Nice, yeah.
Let's see. Simpsons did a parody with Chris. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Of that scene. Okay, I got you.
They did a parody of most famous scenes.
Oh yeah, man. Simpsons be screwing, be all over, everything. Pop culture, period, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Listen to Dirk and Darren and Steve.
Oh, he's on about Steve Mays, is he?
Okay. Yeah.
He's on. Yeah.
Good, Steve. Hope all is well with you. Yeah, man. Good to see y'all conversing in here, man. Let's see. I'll drink to that. Yeah. What do you guys think about the flashback scenes in Silence of the Lambs? I think they're great because they use the same damn lens, right? So it's in Foster's head, right?
Yeah, I think that. Go on.
I mean, it's in Starlin's head. Oh man, you know what I mean.
They're really important for what to replay a kind of backstory.
I think it's a big part of her looking at Crawford too, the way she does. She looks at Crawford kind of like her dad. I feel like,
Yeah, kind of losing her father at such a young age as well. Like you say, you've got the Crawford thing.
These characters are fleshed out, you know what I mean. There's so much depth to the character.
I mean, in terms of you mentioned about doing the TV series, one thing I wouldn't mind doing at one point is maybe reading the books.
Yeah.
And kind of just going through, just maybe do a one-off show, and we'll say all the differences between the books and the films. That could be a possibility. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Chris says, let's see. Class 84 is great. Yeah, man. So is Thief. Tangerine Dream makes that film. Thief.
I need to see Thief. I do need to see that one.
It's a great movie, man. Let's see. Thoughts on I Spit on Your Grave remake? I'm not a big fan of it.
I've never seen it, the remake.
It's okay, but I'm not real big on that one. Have Criterion Blu-ray for Thief, Jim Belushi's first film. Dude, that Criterion Blu-ray is all you need. It's all you need, man. Really. Let's see. They're making Drag Me to Hell Part 2 going to be a prequel in 2025. Okay.
I like the first.
I like Drag Me to Hell. So a lot of people shit on it, but I've always liked it, man. So
I've always considered it like an Evil Dead film, to be honest.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's
It is and it isn't. It's weird.
right. We
I
got
don't
one more
think that's
clip,
going to be
man.
any good though.
We got more.
I was going
one
to
more
say
clip.
we're coming up to the final showdown, and we it's got to be the
yeah,
clip
for Silence
for
of
it,
the Lambs. The last clip I got, like I said, this is the most clips I've done for a stream, but I was hoping my damn computer wasn't gonna crash and shit. I don't know, but here we go, man. Yeah.
Right. So there's a scene early on in the film that sets that up where she's doing FBI training and she kind of gets found out. And then if you notice in that clip, she's got her back to the wall at all times.
The guy says, bang, you're dead or whatever. Right.
Yeah. And it's all she needs is just the click, the sound of the click, and that's it. Bang.
I gotta say, man, and I mean, I'm not trying to like, I just got to give credit where credit's due. This scene is one of the most suspenseful scenes you'll find in a film, in any film. Like,
yeah, it's expertly done.
Especially on the first watch. Like when he's like, at any moment he could have killed her at any moment. Like he didn't have.
Because he almost plays with her, didn't he? He almost he's right in front of her face at one point.
Yeah, he's pushing his limit, I guess you'd say. He's in this state of godlike, manifestation, right? like he thinks he's God or something. That's what I get from it. Like he thinks he can do that shit, push the boundaries, and he didn't have to cock the hammer.
He didn't really have to even invite her in, if you think about it.
Yeah.
He invites her into the house.
He smirks at her, laughs at her when she's
it's cat and mouse,
right?
Yeah, it's a cat and mouse game. And then he's looking through to get an address, and he just kind of just looks and laughs.
Like they don't have any clues. He's like laughing about it and shit.
Yeah, it's like a complete power trip. Awesome. I mean, you've got to mention the ending as well, which is one of the best endings, I think.
I didn't get a clip for that, but man, he's having a friend for dinner, and Starlin's left in shock on the phone, like she don't know how to use a phone or something. She's like, you don't know how a phone works or something. I still love it because she's in shock.
Right.
She's like, but she's in fear too. I think because he's on the loose. Like
the part I love about it is we see Frederick Chilton.
Right.
And he's in the same location as Lecter, and then he comes out with that line, I'm having a friend for dinner.
Yeah.
And then because everyone who watches the film fucking hates that character, Chilton.
Oh yeah.
And we all fucking want him to fucking die, want Lecter to get him. So just the way he kind of just walks into this crowd, and just such a great fucking ending, man.
It's like, I don't know. I'm not sure where they're at, but it's like some kind of third world country, right?
It is. I did have it written down somewhere, but because even before he was caught, he just goes all around the world. I think it's even mentioned up until Hannibal as well, that he mentions all these different parts of the world that he visits, but he's kind of drawn into Florence, which we'll get into as well. But now you've got I'm still not going to say it's my favorite, but I can't give this anything less than a 10. I think it'd just be stupid to argue.
I talked you into it, Darren.
Yeah, you did. I can't argue against you though, because if you said to me I said to you it's a 9.5, and you said, well, why is it not a 10? I wouldn't have a comeback. So
right.
You've convinced me. Awesome. It's outstanding, isn't?
Y'all know this is a 10 out of 10 for me, for sure. Like, no doubt about it. So,
So this
yeah,
is
man.
your this is
Been a
in
long
your
time
top
coming,
five.
man. What's
Is
that?
this your top five in your top five? You said, yeah.
This is my fourth favorite. Yeah,
Man, yeah.
yeah. It's in my top 5. It's right, you know, right above Hereditary,
Oh, okay.
which is controversial for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I hope we've done that kind of justice, that film.
I feel like
'Cause-
I hope so, man, because it's I love this
Let
movie.
us know in the chat if we can do things differently or if it's coming across, okay.
Yeah,
But
hopefully we're not dragging or too much.
no, I wanted to go
information.
through these two films, like,
Yeah.
because I know we said in the past like we're going to tighten up our reviews a little bit, but I mean these two you've got to go through everything, I think.
Yeah, and then the first part too. I mean, we had 3 films, and this one we had 2. So
Yeah.
So we can go a little deeper on these 2 anyway. Because
yeah.
but yeah, man. Let me see. Catch the chat right quick, and we'll get into Hannibal, man. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss nothing. People are talking, so I'm trying not to read all that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Perfect, said Dirk. Appreciate you, man. I hear cha-ching sounds in the background, gents. Cha-ching sounds. Oh, is he talking about that clip or what?
I think so. Yeah. That's
Okay.
what I took from it.
Yeah. The dead hate the living is fucked up. From Parts Unknown. Okay.
I've seen that film and it's bad.
I haven't seen it.
It's a really cheap zombie film.
Okay. Alan says the travel agency was advertised on the ink pen.
Oh, okay. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that for sure. Cool. We got JT in here. Hey, Dirk and Darren, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hell yeah.
Hope all is well with you.
Hey, everybody. Let's see. I dig that they use the Salvador Dali skull of women on the moth on the poster.
Yeah, that's iconic. That view, that image, amazing.
Yeah. Let's see. That is a weird look to it, though, right? And it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it on this.
I don't know if you can get that close. Yeah, yours is better. Go on.
You can kind of see it a little bit. That is killer, though.
It's a weird image.
Yeah. Let's see. JT says, I really haven't seen Hannibal or Red Dragon in forever. Okay.
Oh, man, I urge you to go back and give them a proper watch again.
Yeah, man.
Certainly Hannibal. Like Red Dragon I like, but not as much.
Red Dragon, you could replace Red Dragon with Manhunter. You really could.
Yeah, Manhunter is the only fucking version of that, really.
Red Dragon still got some things, though, in it that
decent,
Manhunter don't. So you kind of need it. To me, I think. I don't know.
I mean, it depends. I've heard a lot of people say they like Red Dragon more, but I don't know.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that damn far. But
I wouldn't go that far either.
Let's see. Lambs and Manhunter are the ones I watch every few years. Yeah. Oh yeah. Love Manhunter. Tom Noonan. Yeah.
Tom Noonan, brilliant. Yeah.
Hopkins plays his role kind of like a cat in the silence, and I love the way he moves in all the films. I can see that.
It is kind of a cat and mace throughout the whole film, yeah.
Tom was funny and easy money with Rodney Dangerfield.
I've not seen that one.
I've seen that, man. I know I've seen a ton of Rodney Dangerfield, though. Like, think about Rodney Dangerfield. I'm not going on a tangent here, but the thing about Rodney Dangerfield, he's my favorite comedian. Like, just looking at the guy, I'm going to laugh just by looking at the motherfucker. You know, he's one of those people. So, like,
yeah.
You don't even got to say nothing. But let's see. JT says Hannibal. I always enjoy, just don't watch it often. Gary Oldman kills it as always. Yeah, Gary Oldman. Holy
Fucking,
shit.
we're gonna come into that, man.
Yeah.
What a performance that is. Yeah.
It's based on a real moth called Death's Head Hawk Moth. It has a marking in the spot that resembles a skull. Okay.
Okay, I didn't know that either.
No, I didn't know. The blind woman in Red Dragon in that gothic mansion is great stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I do agree with Darren though. The what's her name in Manhunter? I think she's better though.
Which one's that?
The blonde lady in Manhunter, playing the same role.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a name. I can't think of a name.
I can't think of her name either. She's in Face Off though.
Yeah.
I think she's.
I know.
To me, I think I like her better. I like that character better in Manhunter. But let's see. Red Dragon is the one I haven't seen in the longest. And despite loving Ed Norton, I never cared for the film much. Okay.
I just think, like Dirk said, like I do think the same characters are played better in Manhunter, like Will as well, Graham.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the blind girl's name. Emily Watson, is it? I think maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, in Red Dragon.
Yeah. She's not as good, even
No.
though she's a more well-known actress.
Mm-hmm.
But the other girl nails it in
Right.
Manhunter. Yeah,
Definitely for me too. As well. Let's see. Cool Fact Scratch. Have the Blu-ray for Sid and Nancy with Gary Oldman. Yeah, he plays Sid Vicious, right?
Yeah. I don't know about that film. I've seen it a few times.
Yeah.
He kind of almost played. I don't know.
What about
He
Leon
did
the
the
Professional, man?
I've not seen that one.
Fucking brilliant in that one. Fucking Bram Stoker's Dracula, man.
I was going to say Dracula in the 90s he did as well, yeah. The guy is...
True Romance. He's playing that Jamaican, the
white
boy Jamaican dude or whatever.
I think he's regarded as probably being, like, if not the best, one of the best ever, like, actors. Certainly in this country, we regard him highly, you know.
He's pretty underrated though. You don't hear people talk about him enough. I don't think, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gary Oldman, Bram Stoker's Dracula, my favorite vampire film, but that can change from the vamp films I have recently seen. Okay.
I mean, for me, I don't want to go on a tangent, but Salem's Lot. I don't think.
Salem's Lot for me for sure.
Beat that, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll get into Hannibal, man. 2001. And
yeah.
Everybody, man, appreciate y'all for being here. You know, if you like what you're seeing, hit the like button. Consider subscribing. All the good things, the notifications, all that good shit, you know.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah. We
haven't had one of them for a while, actually.
Oldie but goodie, right?
Yeah.
Kind of break the monotony a little bit here.
Whoa! Shit!
Yeah.
That's completely fucking random.
Yeah.
Completely random.
Yeah, break that shit up a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
too intense. Silence of the Lambs now.
Yeah. It is a serious film, but I love that shit. And you know, so I got Tasha to watch that, right? And
okay, yeah.
I got her to watch it like a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago. And she's like, "This is my favorite film." That's her favorite film.
So that was her first time ever watching it.
First time ever. It's her favorite movie. And then I told her if she knew we was doing this, she's like, "I can't wait till you watch Silences. I want to watch it with you." I was like, "Yeah." She watched She watched all these Hannibal films with me, by the way. So she loves it.
Yeah, because she's a big she's into serial killers and watching.
She's into the true crime, more true crime type stuff. So yeah, but yeah, and you know, when I told her we're gonna watch Silence, she was like, at first she was like, "It's from 1991. It's old." And I was like, "I promise you're gonna love this movie." And now it's your favorite film. So
it doesn't feel like early 90s film. Like,
it don't feel dated. It don't
No,
do
it
nothing to
doesn't.
really date itself, though. You know.
Not even the fashions, really, because there's a lot of like FBI kind of, so it could play today. It could
Right.
play as a 2000s film easily, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it don't really date it, man. The director, man, he did a damn good job. For him to come doing like comedies too, that's kind of crazy. But
I was gonna say because he's passed away now, but
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a bad thing that he didn't go on and do a lot like more horror films or because I would have loved to have seen what he could have done with like the slasher film in general or something like that, just to see, I've not seen any of his other films. That's the thing, like his comedies and shit.
yeah,
It wouldn't interest me, I don't
I
think.
do want to see Caged Heat though.
That would be his closest one to like,
Yeah.
doing another horror film, I would say.
Yeah, I do. I got to check that out for sure. But
That's
man,
not
I guess
that's not the one with Linda Blair though, is it? I don't think. Or is it?
I'm not sure, man. 1974. I haven't seen it.
Women in Prison, I think. Yeah.
It's a women in prison film. Yeah. Let's see. Chris says Air Force One and The Professional as well. Yeah. Leon. Yep.
Yeah.
Outer World with Gary Oldman and Bruce Willis. Fun watch. Oh, The Fifth Element, right? He's in The Fifth Element too, right? I believe.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's in the Fifth
Okay.
Element. True Romance. Like I said that already. My bad.
He
Yeah.
he plays
Fifth
Hitchcock
Element.
as well, didn't he? In the Hitchcock film.
Okay, Outer World's the other name for it. Okay, I got you. What's that?
He played Alfred Hitchcock, I think, as well, in the Hitchcock film that came out a few years ago, like a biopic.
That was
Was it him?
Anthony Hopkins.
Was it? I'm getting confused then, am I? I thought
Unless he did a different one. Anthony Hopkins.
No, it was. It was Anthony Hopkins. I'm getting confused.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. You're getting that sometimers down.
Probably, yeah. I'm getting on with it now.
All right.
But yeah. That's another great performance from Hopkins as well.
Yeah, man. So we're getting on to Hannibal 2001. It's made 10 years later after Silence of the Lambs, man. Dino De Laurentiis gets the rights back, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that how it happened?
I think so. Yeah. That's
yeah.
There's kind of an interesting backstory a little bit to this one as well. But
so director Ridley Scott, screenplays from Steve Zalian. He did Schindler's List and Gangs of New York. That's the two films that I do know that I've seen out of that he's done. People were ranting and rave about how good of a writer he was. So that's really the only two that I could think of. Oh, Mission Impossible. He did that one too.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. So you got Anthony Hopkins came back as Hannibal Lecter. And here's where it gets a little choppy. Julianne Moore is Clarice. Star.
Right. Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's still a banging cast. So you got Ray Liotta as Paul Krendler. Rest in peace, Ray Liotta, by the way. Gary Oldman, which we've been screaming to the church choirs about, right? Playing Mason Verger. And here's that quote I got from Jodie Foster on why. This is just her quote, so I don't know. It's pretty cryptic. Y'all tell me what you think. All right.
Okay.
So she said, "I stand to make more money doing that sequel than I've ever made in my life. But who cares if it betrays Clarice, who is a person in some strange way to me." Jodie Foster, November 1999.
I can see that for the simple fact there's things that Clarice does in this film that I don't think Jodie Foster, I can't imagine Jodie Foster would have done in playing that part.
Well, I think she's saying that Clarice wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's It's no, I can totally get on board with what she's saying. Julianne Moore is kind of the weakest link, I'd say, in this film.
But if you
But-
hear, what's her
Go
name,
on.
Martha De Laurentiis, if you hear her tell it, and you hear Dino De Laurentiis, they say that Jodie Foster wasn't meant for this film. Like, she wouldn't have.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
They said she wouldn't have worked for this film. Like,
Right.
I was like,
Yeah, I
you're
did
just
read
saying
that.
that shit, right? Like, I don't know, man.
Because Julianne Moore was top of the list apparently, and
Well, Anthony
you know.
Hopkins actually. So there was all these actresses' names came up. So Angelina Jolie, Hilary Swank, Kate Blanchett, but Anthony Hopkins said that he'd worked with Julianne Moore before, and
Yeah.
he said that would be his pick. So there you
I
go.
mean, in terms of not having Jodie Foster, she's probably as good as you're gonna get anyway. I can't really see anyone else being like remotely as good as her. But it
Kate
just
Blanchett
doesn't
would have
work.
been interesting though.
That might have been, yeah. That could
Yeah.
have been.
Not Angelina Jolie though.
No, not at all, man.
No, like what the hell?
No.
Like,
I've got to mention one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
Giancarlo. I gotta get this right now.
hold on, I thought he was one of your favorite actors,
Giannini.
man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's still a mouthful, even though he's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, Giancarlo Giannini.
That's it. He plays Patsy, and there's
Yeah.
a really fucking so Patsy in this film is
Yeah.
actually from a real character, and there's a few scenes and things that happen in this film.
Yeah,
that
there's
were
a
in
story
real
about-
life. Yeah, yeah,
about Francesco Pazzi in Florence in real life.
yeah.
Like it really,
So-
you know, and damn, I should have got that clip where he's talking to, like, I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but there's a scene where Anthony Hopkins is talking about, he's insulting the inspector, right?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
insulting Ronaldo. He says, why did they take you off the El Mastro case? And in case y'all haven't seen that, y'all go back and check that out. We covered the Monster of Florence and damn, I'm blanking on the name. Killer is Still Among Us. Go check out
Yeah.
that stream if you like to
So
know some more about the Monster of Florence.
what's interesting about the Monster of Florence in this film is they actually had the character. He was going to appear in the film. So one of the extras in the film was cast as the Monster of Florence. And obviously at the time and even now, the case is still open. But I found it kind of interesting. There was going to be a scene where the Monster of Florence actually sees Hannibal Lecter kill Patsy and he's hiding.
Oh, hell.
That would have been fucking fantastic if they could have pulled that off.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if Hannibal is the Monster of Florence too, though.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that scene is actually in the book. It may well be in the book.
I mean, I don't think that, now that I think about it more, though, I don't think he would be the Monster of Florence. You know, that ain't really his style, really. But
I don't think anyone fucking knows. I mean, I've got because when we
Well,
definitely
yeah.
go back and watch that.
yeah,
That gives me a reminder. I still need to read that book.
I'm just saying, like in this film, like you know, he very well could have been the Monster of Florence. You know,
Yeah. I mean, anything's possible. Yeah,
Considering-
without a shadow of a doubt.
yeah, but
So Giannini was in Black Belly of the Tarantula, which is probably in my top 10 Gialli of all time. He also was in Libido, which is a black and white Giallo from '65.
yep,
Yeah, you know, apart from Julianne Moore, what a cast, you know, like you say. They bring back Barney as well, Frankie Fearson. He comes
she's
back.
not that bad. I mean, she was in. I know you like that movie, right? The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Yeah, I love that film. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that one.
She didn't do that many, did she? She did
She was in
She did the
Tales from the
remake-
Dark Side.
yeah, the movie. She did the Psycho remake. She did the Carrie remake.
She did a lot of
plays
like.
the mother.
She did some
Yeah.
romantic comedies and stuff too, right? If I remember right.
Yeah. One I
Yeah.
remember her in is the Madonna film Body of Evidence, and that's pretty good. I've not
Okay.
seen it for a while. I've got that on my to watch list. That's
Right.
kind of like a thriller as well, like an erotic thriller.
And this is shot in the Tuscan Hills, right? So it's like
yeah,
the
yeah.
the scenery is amazing. It really is. Like,
outstanding. Like there's a few views of Florence where
yeah,
you kind of you get this one scene where it's a not innocuous scene where the kind of characters are just walking and he's got it in frame of just the water, and it's an amazing looking film. I think that's why I like it so much, is the Italian like the Italian influence. Like it has
I
to
love
be.
that part of it. It's just, I can't very well put it over Silence. Is all.
No, I completely agree with you. This is my favorite. I'm not,
Yeah.
but I will not argue it's better than Silence at all.
Right.
So just to kind of come into the opening and setting this film up. So obviously it's 10 years later. You've got Mason Verger. He's a surviving victim of Hannibal Lecter. He's
So I
like
wouldn't hold on. I'm not
Go
trying
on.
to interrupt
No,
you,
that's
man.
okay. That's okay.
But so I wasn't real clear on that. So is this actually 10 years after in the film, in the
I
story?
presume so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure on that. I didn't know.
Yeah, because I think Lecter at this point has traveled the world. He's been in all these different places. He obviously ends up in Florence. But yeah, so he's a surviving victim, but he's like a wealthy child molester, and he's got influence in the government. Money talks. He's got influence in the government and the
Yeah,
and all that.
he's got immunity. He's talking.
But it starts off with that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking to Clarice about that, and she's like, "I'm not interested. I don't even want to hear none of that." And like, you know what I mean?
Right, doesn't even judge him on it, really. But it starts off with that scene where he buys the mask of Hannibal Lecter, because at this point now he's kind of obsessed. We see the old Gad Barney, and he's been selling all of Lecter's kind of possessions and getting big money, like as a retirement kind of fund. But that's when we see how much Verger hates Lecter, and it does come into play, because we will say how and why that happens, which is horrific. It fucking is, like, but yeah, this is 10 years after tracking down Buffalo Bill. So we got Agent Starling, and she's involved in like this really botched like drug raid early on in the film.
Yeah, it starts out like a damn action film.
It doesn't need to be in there, I don't think.
The action scene.
know, yeah, I know Ridley Scott said they were thinking about not filming it, and it wouldn't have worked without it. But I think it would have worked perfectly fine without it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just showing you where Starling's at now, I guess. Like,
yeah, where she becomes a scapegoat, doesn't she?
Well, she's like a badass too now. So it's weird too, in a way. Like she kills 5 people in that drug raid, right? Like,
yeah. It's like you say, it would Clarence from Clarice, from the fucking Silence be like that? I don't think so.
No, I think that's what Foster was talking.
Yeah, she would not have been as arrogant as the way Julianne Moore is in this. So yeah, I mean, that scene you could have quite easily just done without. There's a famous part of that scene as well where I think it's Avelda, the drug lady, and she's carrying a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So Jodie Foster's Jodie Foster, there you go. Julianne Moore is literally got like a split second to make a decision to shoot her, and they kind of run her down because this woman's carrying a baby. But what would you do if he was in that situation? You'd fucking gag your life, right?
Well, I guess they're looking at it like she was in charge, but then other people weren't they wanted to be gung ho about the shit. And also, did you know that baby was a mechanical baby?
Yeah, I did read up on that. Yeah, they did a good job with that, I think.
So I imagine that's like, because the $87 million budget, right?
Right.
That baby is part of that. I mean, there's other things too. Yeah. There's a mechanical bore.
Oh man, those scenes are great. Yeah.
One of the bore is mechanical. I'm not going to get to that part yet, but just while we're mentioning, I was just going to mention some of that. The Gary Oldman's makeup took like 6 hours to do that makeup And he's such a trooper, man. Like he's a true professional. They were like gonna ask him if they could open his eye, because that one eye is like wide open like that.
Yeah.
And he told them, he asked them if they would open his eye.
I think that's probably one of the best makeup jobs I've ever seen.
It really
on
is.
like on a victim,
Yeah, it really is.
But I was going to say, it's not even her fault as well. It's not even Stalin's fault that drug raid went bad.
No,
because
she was going to call it off.
Stop it. Yeah. And because like a male colleague gets shot and killed as well, she takes the whole brunt of all that. But there's a hidden agenda in there, So you've got that Krendler character, Ray Liotta, and he's got like a hidden agenda, which we find out a little bit later on in the film because he's good friends with Verger. So he's trying to get her completely off, kind of, off the case.
She's being used as bait again.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Crawford used her as bait, and now she's being used by Verger.
So Verger calls her in, doesn't he? When she gets kind of, she's not. I don't think she's sacked or anything, is she? But she's basically told, like she's FBI suspended. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
You got to give up her ID, her credentials, and her gun.
Yeah. So Verger
So
knows how much and how close she was in the Hannibal Lecter case, and he figures that she's going to draw Lecter out. So that kind of works well. And that whole scene where she goes to visit him early on as well, and he talks about God at one point, and he says to her, kind of, my face doesn't really bother you, but the mention of the word God and you shy away, something, not word for word, but something like that as a quote, which is interesting.
Right. I think it's kind of like implied that she has like that Hannibal's like darkness has kind of spread to her in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Kind of like how she don't blink at killing people and shit,
Yeah, it's
This one's also more like Ridley Scott was saying that he took it as more of a romantic theme between Hannibal and Starlin.
I didn't see that at all.
That's what he said that he was doing.
I would have said like the Silence of the Lambs would have been more, but there's a scene coming on later. Yeah,
he was saying it was like Beauty and the Beast, not so much on her side, but Hannibal's side.
There's no real chemistry between Moore and Anthony Hopkins as well. It's kind of it looks like I'm shitting on this now, which I'm not, but
it's a one-sided deal, I think. You know what I mean? But she's still she's still obsessed with Hannibal, though, if you look at it. Like she's listening to those old conversations. She's trying to figure things out too, but she is obsessed with him. She even mentions it. There's not 30 seconds to go by she don't think about him. So he got off into her brain. You know what I mean?
Like he does everyone, yeah.
Right.
And there's that scene where we got the early flashback of how Verger gets his injuries, and it is like, I don't think have you got a clip of that, Dirk? I'm not sure if you got that one.
I put it in the intro. I got.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I only have the two big ones for this one.
Right.
Two big.
So. Literally, Lecter kind of got him to like with a piece of broken glass to pretty much like take his whole face off. It's kind of brutal.
Well, they were drinking it first, and then
they're friends. Yeah.
And then he's like, do you want a popper? And he breaks something, and it's like a hallucinogenic, and then that's when Hannibal Lecter's power of persuasion. Like, you know what I mean? He's like the master manipulator,
Because Lecter despises him at this point because he's a child molester.
Right.
And then you've got the great line from Verger where he says, I think it was a good idea at the time.
Sounded like a good idea at the time.
Yeah. But man.
Hannibal made it sound good.
That. Yeah.
Hannibal
the way he delivers that line. But the whole fucking, I know we're going to mention it a lot, but Gary Oldman in that like role, man. The way he talks, he just nails, but completely fucking nails that character. I can't imagine anyone coming close to doing as good a job as he does.
Yeah.
And when you've got the whole prosthetics, you know, done so well, man, it's even now it's hard to watch those scenes.
It's creepy. Like with that eye open like that too, you know, it's so damn like shit, bro. Like go do something. Go. I mean, I would forever ever wear a mask if my shit looked like that. So.
Right. Yeah. It I don't know if you got any idea from victims in the past, but you would think it was real. You really would, just by looking at it. And you can't say that about many. Like even the good makeup jobs, you can't really say it looks identical to being real.
Many surgeries, right?
Yeah.
So
it's his character as well in the wheelchair. You know, he's always really well dressed and kind of well spoken in his way.
Hannibal made him cut his face up and said, "No, I can still see it. I can still see the smile." You know, like, and
because he's not downbeat about it at all, is he? In any way,
he's like feeding his face to the dog and shit. Like, so
he actually says something along the lines of, "This was my destiny anyway. Why be upset about it?"
Yeah.
Which is like fucking hell. You know, I don't think I'd feel the same.
Right.
But
and then also, like, I know we're kind of getting ahead, but he mentions he later on when he finally does talk to Hannibal, he says, "I bet you wish you would have fed all of me to the dogs." And he said, "No, I love you just the way you are."
Yeah, that's a brilliant line as well.
I'm like, shit.
Because even when Hannibal's like cornered and they got him hook, line, and sinker, he still doesn't fucking react to anything. He's cool as a cucumber, I should say. But so there was a scene that wasn't filmed but it was supposed to have been in the original Silence of the Lambs, of a nurse being attacked, and they show kind of a flashback scene of that where Hannibal bites the face off this nurse. That was going to be included in Silence, but for some reason they didn't do it. They thought it worked better for this one. But yeah, man, the whole initial like setting up of that, you know, them two getting together. But then the film kind of takes a fucking like 180 in a way and it does turn into a fucking giallo film. And I'll fight anyone on who says any different to that.
It does. It does.
I'll die on the hill, man.
It kind of does, like the whole definitely elements of a giallo for sure. And
I love it. I love this part.
And then it's like I said, man, it's like the romantic shit too, though, with the opera. Is that like Dante's Inferno? Right.
It is, yeah, it is.
That score is fucking amazing.
It's kind of slowed down a little bit in places, if you notice as well.
Yeah,
it's kind of done it differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've got Inspector Ronaldo Pazzi, played by Giancarlo Giannini. I'd probably still butcher that, but never mind.
Say that 5 times real fast.
Yeah, no. I'll probably try and say Patsy from now on. But
Patsy.
Yeah, so he's been kind of working on another case, which he kind of questions Dr. Fell at this, who's a library assistant, curator, and caretaker of this library, like this big fucking well-known library in Italy, Florence. And he's unaware at this point that this is Hannibal Lecter. I don't know about you, but with the writing, I don't know whether Lecter would have been as bold as to fucking not wear any kind of disguise. I know he's got the hat at one point, but
he's rocking the fedora, right?
Yeah. It always kind of seems a bit. Is he trying to like invite fucking the police on to trying to like play a cat and a mouse game again with him? Because he should have really just gone into obscurity and just faded away into some far corner of the planet. Like
he don't worry about those kind of things. Like
no, he doesn't. No,
he's on that like high intellect level, so he thinks like, which he's pretty much right though. Like he can get away with what he wants. Like
Yeah. No, you're right. He does. Yeah, he putting it into any given situation, he backs himself to come out of it.
He's like 4 or 5 steps ahead always. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
he's got shit waiting on him. Have you seen the alternate ending of this film?
I've seen it in the past. I can't
Okay.
remember anything about it, but I didn't. When we get to that point, I don't know if you want to refresh me and let me know what it is.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But so pretty much they while she's trying to find Lecter now, Stalin, they come across this letter. So he sends Stalin, and it's got like a fragrance that they can only kind of pinpoint it to like 2 or 3 places in the world.
Right. Get these
And
smellers, these professional, smart smellers.
right, perfume smellers. Yeah, apparently that was a thing at the time.
I'm sure it's still going on. Like people who
yeah,
can smell shit and tell you what, like, you know.
But they kind of track him down, don't they? Literally through surveillance TV of him in this perfume store in Florence. And that's where the whole kind of thing comes alive at this point. Because Patsy then, like, I think is it just by chance, happens to see this surveillance video.
Yeah.
And realizes that Dr. Fell is in fact fucking Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, because he starts wondering, like, he's asking somebody
Yeah.
in his office, right? Like, who's he talking to? He's talking to Clarice Starling, and so then he starts looking into that a little more, and then figures out Hannibal is on the FBI's most wanted, America's most wanted top 10 list, right?
Yeah, because he gains access, doesn't he? He gains someone's password to go onto this FBI website.
Yeah, and you see Bin Laden on there, you know.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like, what the hell? But
it's it's a great kind of cat and mouse between these two as well. I think because he almost takes on the role, like the Stalin kind of goes a little bit in the background while Patsy's kind of on screen. She's there, but she's not really prominent as much.
I do like the fact that, like, when he's being stalked, it's like, you know, he's being stalked by someone, and then but he reverses that shit. I do love that part of it.
That's a great scene, yeah,
because it's way different than like in a giallo, right?
Yeah,
like, somebody that's being stalked usually gets killed, and it's the opposite happens. Like, you know, like,
but you can see him in that scene as well. He's one step ahead. You can see where he realizes what's going on.
He's always aware of everything around him. It's almost like he's supernatural in a way, don't you think? Like,
it's either that or just a complete fucking different level, high intelligence
shit. Because he knows things that he shouldn't know. Like,
yeah, I think that's because of his intelligence is alluded to, but yeah, it's possible.
But like in Silence of the Lambs, when Starling comes in there, he hands her a towel, but then he's like, he tells her the bleeding stopped. Like, how the fuck would he know that?
Right? Yeah.
Like, how the fuck would he know that?
It's never touched upon, but it could well be. So he finds out the Vergers put up like a $3 million reward now for finding Lecter, and the way to do this, to get an upfront payment, I think he's got to get like a fingerprint that matches Lecter's.
Yeah, he's got to get $250,000 up front.
Yeah.
He's got to send them proof, basically.
And there's a great scene where he's ringing the number, and he actually thinks it's like a dead line. So he walks away from the phone booth, and he's kind of like looks relieved at the fact that maybe I'm not going to go through all this shit to get the money. He kind of looks relieved, and then the phone booth rings again, and he goes back, and then they tell him, you know, all the conditions of he got to get an attorney, and he's
for the love of money, man.
Yeah. Which is the evil of the world, really. But
damn straight.
the whole kind of like fucking cat and mouse of these two as well, because he ends up, he goes to like the lectures, didn't he, of Hannibal Lecter,
and the whole time Lecter's constantly fucking with him,
completely, constantly
fucking with him, reminding him of his dead ancestors and shit. And like,
so there's go on.
And even like then he starts talking about like Judas Iscariot, and you know, like because this motherfucker is trying to act like he's his friend too, in a way, you know,
right? So the Patsy family is a thing. It was real.
Yeah.
So one of his ancestors, I think it was like 200 years before, had been kind of in. I don't know if it was like like a gang or something, like two families at war. But he killed a major member of another family. I got found out. He was disemboweled and hung. And like you say, this keeps coming up constantly in the film.
Well, we went in depth on that in the Monster of Florence case, right?
Yeah.
Because I told you that character, Francesco Pazzi, after all that happened to him, they fucking threw him in the river. And then and then some kids fucking pulled him out of the river, was playing with him and shit, dragging his ass. And then they stuck his head on like a fucking door or something. Like at a front door. I don't know. It's some crazy wild shit what happened to that dude. But yeah.
But the actual fucking like church they use at one point, like was where all this fucking happened in real life, you know? Even the library, I think the library's like the doorway to the library is something like hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Oh, you can definitely tell. And speaking on that, like the disembowel scene, so I was listening to a special effects guy. I should have got his name, but he was saying that they couldn't use fake blood because of how old everything was. They didn't want to mess up anything in Florence, so they ended up using Curo syrup, so they could just wash it away instead of fake blood. But it still looks damn good.
Yeah, because this is like a historic building, isn't it? You know, even to this day. We got to mention.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry. Go on.
No, you're good.
I was going to say we got to mention the whole kind of. So Patsy gets this kind of criminal pickpocket, and he tells him what he wants. That he basically wants a fingerprint of Lecter. I don't even know if he goes into too much detail at this point. And the whole scene where Lecter, like you say, is one step ahead. And this guy, fucking hell, Lecter just gives it to this guy in the groin area.
Oh, yeah. He hits him right in the artery, for sure.
Yeah, in the femoral artery, I think it is.
And that's why the guy's saying that he tried to hit him in the balls, but no, he hit him where he meant to hit him.
Yeah. So as he's dying, there's a really kind of cold like scene where Patsy pretty much knows he can't save the guy. So he goes to this fountain.
It's not only that. I think it's so the dude don't talk.
Yeah, there's possibly that as well. Yeah. But he just coldly goes to this fountain, and you've got the pig's head on the fountain as well.
Yeah, definitely foreshadowing. Big time.
Yeah. People would actually rub their nose and put money into this fountain and grant wishes and that. But he just coolly goes over, washes the blood off in his hands.
Yeah, he's like, let me help you. And he pulls his hand off the damn, like, the dude probably could have been saved.
Definitely. But like you say, he didn't want anything to do with, being found out or anything. I still love his character, even though that kind of proves he's a dickhead as well.
He's a grimy bastard.
Yeah. Even wanting the reward.
He's got a beautiful wife, right? And Hannibal's like, really, he's like really putting the charm on her, right? In a way.
I think it's alluded to like Hannibal wants to eat her at one point.
Yeah.
But they got the meeting where they go to the opera. And she's a lot younger as well. So Patsy's like, the thought behind Patsy wanting the reward is because he's got such a young, beautiful wife, he wants to give her the best in everything. Because there's might be like a 10, 15, maybe 20 year.
I'd say probably 20. Yeah.
Yeah, say a 20-year gap.
Yeah.
And Lecter is so fucking charming when he meets her. And I think he recites some kind of, I don't know if it's poetry
Lecter's really into the opera and all this culture shit, right? The Patsy character definitely is not. He's like, he's doing that shit for her. Like, he's there for her.
Right. And his wife is actually taken with Lecter as well. Yeah. It's a weird scene. It's
the power of persuasion with Lecter,
Patsy knows obviously at this point, and he's like fucking, he doesn't know what to do because he locks eyes with Lecter, doesn't he? When they're watching the opera, and he's trying to look away at one point.
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you this though: can you think of a more intelligent villain in cinema, in film history?
Not that I can think of. Nothing's coming to mind straight away. Even when I was watching this, I was kind of thinking of that.
Yeah.
Not really.
I think he's the most intelligent villain there is. Like, I really do, man. Like,
yeah, I know. Okay, he makes a few silly mistakes, man. I suppose, like if you can call it that, with being caught. Certainly
Kind of,
later on
yeah.
in the film, with when Verger's men catch him, I
Yeah.
kind of was thinking to myself, would Lecter have got himself into that situation? But
that's probably what Foster is thinking too, right? Like when she.
That's exactly part of, I think, the thinking. Yeah,
And the way Clarice is with everything.
the writing isn't as good as Silence. I will say that.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, you've got the whole thing. Yeah, so it all ends up literally with Patsy. He ends up going to one of like Lecter's kind of, what would you call them? Like where he's showing slides and he's doing like a slideshow.
But he's at the library, right?
Yeah, curator, I suppose you would say.
Yeah, because he's trying to get that library job, and that's what Patsy initially is investigating the murder on him, and that's when Lecter says, "Oh, why'd they take you off the El Mastro case?" He's kind of like jabbing at him, you know?
Right. So
He's
there's
like,
a theory to that as well,
Yeah.
where so in the way Lecter gets the job of being the curator, it's thought like 2 months earlier that Lecter had killed the actual curator himself.
Yeah.
And then left it 2 months being quite wise about it, and then applied for the job and then got it that way. That may be in the book as well. So, but I know that was the thought process behind it. And it makes complete sense as well. In that scene, which is, the way he fucking just draws him in.
The way he
end.
does Patsy,
Yeah.
though, it's funny because he's always talking about, he's saying things like, people don't want other people to advance in life and shit like that.
Yeah.
And like, just little hints. He's basically bluntly saying shit. He pretty much says what's on his mind, but,
Absolutely, yeah. But is it realistic to say Patsy would have got himself in that situation?
The money. Yeah, absolutely.
The money. But he's a professional cop. Would he have been that stupid? I know the money's a big lure, but surely, I don't know, he would have been protected in more ways. Because I know
let nobody know he's trying to get that reward. He's trying to get that $3 million.
But you got Verger's men outside. They are literally watching outside, waiting. I suppose if anything goes wrong, certainly.
But I look at it this way: maybe that's his arrogance, thinking that Lecter don't have a clue, and the whole time Lecter knows that he knows what's up.
Yeah, and like when we're watching the film as well, we don't realize really. I know Lecter knows something's going on with that pickpocket scene, but he plays it so well that you would believe him that he wouldn't have a clue, and then completely draws this Patsy character in, and he's
questioning him. Man. Lecter's he's been with the Bureau, right? So he thinks like them too. Like why would Patsy keep questioning, asking these weird questions? That raises suspicion.
Yeah.
So he's very aware of everything. Like I really believe that. Like, you know what I mean?
No, he is. Yeah. Like no other that come before or since.
Yeah.
So he basically gets Patsy into this room in Palazzo Vecchio is what it's called, which is a real place. Some of the scenes, it was actually done on the real balcony, I believe, with like a green screen in certain parts. But most of it's like legitimate location shooting. And so you've got the foreshadowing of his ancestor becomes a reality.
Let me play the clip.
Yeah, go for the clip. Yeah.
Here we go. We're right at that part, so it all works out.
Francesca de Pazzi. On the related subject, I must confess to you, I'm giving very serious thought to eating your wife. was it Mason Virtue you sold me to? No. Blink twice for yes, once for no. Was it Mason Virtue you sold me to? Yes, good, thank you. Oh, you're confused. Well, please don't be confused because I may have to fillet Signora Patsy after all. Okie dokie, here we go. Pronto?
I've gone above you. I've spoken to your section chief. Today you'll thank me, or you won't. I don't care. You'll be alive. Inspector Potsy?
Is this Clarice? Well, hello, Clarice. Unfortunately, you've caught me at an awkward moment. An old friend. Here we go. What's it to be? Balls in or balls out? Are you confused? Well, I'll decide for you if you'll permit me. Ciao.
Yeah, man. Did you notice in that scene as well where at one point you can hear like students laughing because they think it's kind of a prank being pulled?
Yeah.
And then it goes to that scream of the one like girl scream.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
and you notice how
go on.
I noticed it on this watch. I don't think I'd ever noticed it before. When he finally throws him over the edge, he says "ciao."
Yeah. I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like
just like his humor. But I remember first watching it, and even now watching it, like all these times later, I'm pissed off at that scene because I so fucking wanted Patsy to like survive the film, at least to the end. I was even now I'm still fucking rooting for the guy, and then just stupidity, I suppose, is his undoing in the end, really. But gotta mention. Go on, sorry. Can I quickly just mention the church music?
Yeah.
So there's like church music for it as well, and you've got the opera, kind of the score, which kind of gives it some like really fucking, I don't know, like even kind of a gothic in places.
It's definitely
kind of
like I was going to say that too. I was going to bring that up since you said that. Like the whole franchise is like these films are like modern Gothic films. I feel like the tone.
They are. They really are.
In a lot of ways,
especially with the Florence backdrop as well.
Yeah,
you know, all the history with that as well. Sorry, Dick, was you going to say something before that, or?
I was going to say I'm going to catch the chat right quick.
Yeah, go for it, man.
We got Russell saying, "Great listening to you guys. Good night." Well, I appreciate it, Russell. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Really appreciate you coming by.
Let's see. We got Fat Pig the Conqueror. He says, "What's going on, guys? What's happening?"
Hey,
man?
What's up, man?
Always good
That's
to see
my
you,
buddy.
man. Yeah. Anthony says, "I'm so glad you guys are discussing Hannibal. I feel like no one talks about that film."
I mean, man, this was on the cards for a long time, on it.
Yeah, we talked about doing this for a long time, man, and I'm glad we're getting it done now. So
why doesn't anyone talk about this film, though? I don't understand. I just don't understand. I think this is right up there, one of the best sequels ever made.
Yeah. I still got it. I have it ranked third, like out of the franchise, you know.
Realistically, it's I'm between this and like Manhunter is my favorite, but and that's completely different to what is the best.
Yeah.
But if I had to rank them as being the best, this would be third, and it would, you know, you'd have to put Silence top and then Manhunter. But in terms of my quick, you know, if I quick ranking, I'll go Manhunter, and I put this with a tie. I completely went back and put this as a tie for second with Silence for me as favorites.
Okay.
But maybe Hannibal slightly the second, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So I'm caught up on the chat, so we're good.
But I will tell you as well later on in the final scene. I think Dirk knows my views where it does come down a little bit with what happens to a certain character, which is the Krendler character.
Oh yeah.
I'm not fussed on that part of it.
Oh, I thought that was like your favorite scene of the movie.
Oh man, yeah. It's fucking completely stupid, which we'll come on to, I think.
It's fun. It is funny though. I was watching a special feature on this called Break the Silence, and they were showing the premiere. They premiered it in New York, right?
Yeah.
And it was showing like all these big movie stars and shit all watching the movie, and people laughed at that part where old boy eats his own brain. So like, it
didn't work for me, but I can understand because Ray Liotta is kind of funny. You can play funny and fucking serious at the same time.
Yeah.
But I just feel there's a little bit too much humor in that final scene. It's kind of, I would have rather
it's a
more
bizarre scene too, though, because it's humor mixed with very weird shit that's going on. Like,
it kind of doesn't feel in place in the film for me. Like, I would have much rather just skip that.
Hopkins did question Ridley Scott. He's like, "So how are we going to do this scene? How are we going to do this scene again?" Like, so
yeah, I don't know whether they should have gone that right with that character. Anyway, they could have done something different and had him, and still had the dinner scene at the end. But
I don't think Hopkins liked it either, to be honest.
No, it definitely takes away a little bit from it. But we find out that this Paul Krendler, he wants the reward himself, which is another kind of 180 in the whole kind of storyline.
Yeah, he's trying to get like $500,000, right?
Yeah. He kind of sets Stalin up to pretty much just completely come off the case he wants. He throws her under the bus, really, doesn't he? In that one scene where he's on the news, he's trying to be nice about her, but behind her back, he's completely like, he doesn't want her anything to do with it.
He's trying to get that money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we got the scene there where Lecter's pretty much stalking Stalin at this point, and there's a really fucking weird scene where. And this was actually at the actual location where there's like a merry-go-round, and Stalin's on the merry-go-round, and he actually touches, Hannibal touches Stalin's hair, which he doesn't feel, I don't believe, at the time.
Right. He's like, you were so close, you were so warm.
Because he's talking to her on the phone at this point, and but this is where I feel that. Would he have put himself in this position where you've got Verge's men and they're all waiting for him? They're all following him as well. Which wouldn't he have known with his high intelligence?
Yeah, definitely.
So, but he gets caught out and he gets caught, and then
there's definitely some plot holes, man. There definitely is.
Hannibal would never fucking let that happen, surely.
Yeah. If anything, he would have killed them.
Yeah, before that even happened. And it would be stupid to say that he'd let that happen just so he could get back to Verge. I don't believe that. If anyone wants to argue that point, I just don't.
No, because if he could get to Verge if he wanted to, of
course.
I mean, like he says later, I like you just the way you are.
He pretty much wants it. He doesn't really want to kill him because he wants him to fucking keep suffering.
He wants him
the
to
way
suffer.
He is. Yeah. But yeah, we got to mention the scene with the hogs and the pigs. So Verge is pretty much got these guys, and all they're doing.
Well, they get Hannibal, right? They kidnap. Hannibal.
Yeah.
They kidnap him with the taser.
Like a taser gun. Yeah.
So they get him, and then I think they get him, and then they take him back to the mansion or whatever, and then Verge goes on and on about how he's going to be serving Anthony Hopkins to the boars, right? Like he's talking about, he's going to start with his feet, and then after they eat his feet, and he's like describing how many teeth that the hogs have and shit, and he's like, after they eat his feet, they're going to keep him alive, and then serve more of them 7 hours later. So he's going to slowly kill them, Did
you know that this was actually a thing in medieval times? They would do this.
Damn, I wouldn't
yeah.
be surprised. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
pretty.
there's a scene early on in the film where the sole intent of these guys breeding these like wild boar just so they could kill. So hopefully, like Virgil could track down Lecter in the
Yeah.
future and kill him. Apparently, that's a thing that happened in medieval times, and the only thing that they could not completely fucking fully eat was the teeth of the victim. But I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah,
Damn.
there's
Okay.
a
I didn't know
whole
that. Yeah.
there's a
Great.
whole scene where, man, I don't know where to begin with it. So you got Starling. She kind of turns up, saves Hannibal right at the last minute where he's about to be fed to these hogs.
And she gets shot.
He saves her. He actually saves her, doesn't he?
She gets shot, but gets knocked out. I didn't understand that. Like,
I didn't understand that as well. And why wouldn't the hogs attack Starling and Lecter while he's in there with them? I know he goes all still, but I don't know.
But like it does show that earlier in the film when he goes into Paul Krendler's house with his German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Like the German Shepherd, like he knows how to. I guess he knows how to act around crazy animals, and that's that's a trained German Shepherd. You know, like
That's the only thing it could be. These boars just completely sense that fucking Lecter's just bad news, you know. And animals do that, like you say.
Right.
But yeah, a little bit to do with the writing there. But
I'll play the clip though, if you want.
Go for it. Play the clip, man. Go for it.
Yeah. All right, here it is.
Hold out! Shoot him! Get the gun and shoot him!
Go into the pan? No. I'm staying out.
You're involved, is what you are. Now do it.
Hey, Cordell, why didn't you push him in? You can always say it was me.
Cordell? Cordell! Cordell!
Man, can you imagine? Can you imagine seeing that in the cinema? I would imagine everyone just got up, fucking kind of like rooting for him to fucking die. That Virgil character.
It's like Hannibal's a hero, kind of in this movie too. You know,
I was gonna say the bad guy in this film is Virgil. I think.
Yeah,
is the main fucking bad guy.
Right.
Hannibal, like you say, he does do good. He does do good as well as bad. But
it's odd though that they did it. They did it that way in a way. You know. I like it. It's just different, you know.
I love the fact that they did that. They had the balls to do that.
It's like Hannibal's got morals and shit, you know. Like and then like so there's three running themes through the film. It's affection. Hannibal shows affection to Clarice, right?
Right.
And it's like a romantic Beauty and the Beast kind of scenario with him anyway, I think. And then and then Mason Verger is just a pure evil son of a bitch who wants revenge. And then you got the Ronaldo Patsy character. It's all about corruption with him, you know, like he's just all about the money. Same with Leota's character. Was it Crendel?
Yeah, Crendel. Yeah.
Yeah, Krendler. My bad.
Krendler. Yeah.
But
you've got the whole because like you say as well, Lecter gets to a point now later on, or just the scene after, or whatever, where he's stalking Clarice. He's actually in her apartment. At any given time, he could have done anything. I think. Didn't he leave her like a pair of Gucci shoes at one point? Because there's the ongoing joke in Silence of the Lambs where she
Yeah.
turns up and she's interviewing him and she's got really shit pair of
He's
shoes
always
on.
insulting her about her poor or cheap shoes,
Yeah.
you know.
Calling, is it white trash? And that's kind of a thing that we didn't pick up on in the first. I say the first one, but I mean Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, well, it is the first. Like, well,
yeah, it is. Yeah. So you've
Kinda.
got the whole cat and mouse thing where he goes back to Krenler's house. And that was a proper big fucking, at one point, that was like, I think it's one of the most wealthiest, like mansions, you know, at the time. And there's a lot of history behind it as well. But no, this was the boathouse. I'm on about his original house. Sorry. I have got it written down. We'll come on to that.
And then, I forgot about that. This is a 4th of July film.
It is, yeah.
This is a perfect movie to watch on the 4th of July.
Yeah, which like you say, like Anthony said, no one really mentions this at all.
Yeah,
I think it just goes under the radar. I don't hear many people mention a little bit more with Manhunter, but that doesn't get enough, you know, credit as well.
No,
but
it definitely.
We got to move on to that final scene we've been on about then. So you've got the final dinner scene where Lecter's preparing dinner for Stalin. She's pretty much been drugged. Krenler's at the dinner table as well. We don't know what's happening at first. He kind of acts childlike.
Yeah, you're like, what the hell's going on? But then you see like this weird orange, red shit on his head, and he's wearing a hat backwards and shit.
Yeah,
you know?
And he's like, the character's completely different. He acts like a child. He's completely different to the way he is.
Yeah.
But he still puts Stalin down all the time, which I thought was quite funny. But man, that doesn't fucking work for me, man. Just the way Lecter peels off his fucking, you know, his skin and then goes to his brain.
I'm telling you, a lot of money went to that shit. That was real animal brains, though.
Yeah, it was 2 sheep's brains, I think. Yeah.
It's real animal brain. I didn't know which animal, but that's what they said. Animal brains is all they said, and with a mixture of CGI. So they had a dummy, right, that looked exactly like Leota.
Right, yeah.
Like a
they had
an animatronic.
They actually had a real live brain surgeon in that, you know, on set.
Yeah.
And he was so taken aback by the brains that he actually said, "Hey, the fuck, did you get human brains?" Like, he actually thought they were human brains. And he's a guy who's been doing operations his whole life. So the realism, you know, you've got to say the realism and the actual gore in effect is done superbly.
It's definitely done for shock. And then I think that's why they add the humor with it a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, Dino De Laurentiis and Martha, I guess she's what, 40 years younger than him, his wife.
Is she really? I didn't know she was that.
I don't know, dude. She looks pretty young, though, like compared to him. But anyway,
might have had an easier life, like.
Well, yes, she's a producer as well. Hint, hint. Whatever that is. But you know, so they were both saying that this is not a sequel to Silence of the Lambs. You know.
Okay, what were they saying then?
I didn't get that. And then Julianne Moore.
Did they elaborate on that or?
No, not really. They just was like, this is not a sequel to Silence of the Lambs. It's its own thing, you know. And I was like, what the hell? And then Julianne Moore was saying that this is more like surreal, dreamlike. So I was confused on that too.
That's bollocks, because it's played completely straight. It is played straight.
Yeah, but there are some scenes that are kind of, you got to suspend disbelief, right? You know, I guess is what they're saying, but I don't know.
I can't believe that this was actually panned by the critics. It was like really badly. Even though
the money it made, though,
it made a lot of money. I was going to say
because everybody had to see it, right? I guess, you know, and then, because it's considered inferior to Silence of the Lambs because of the violence, is what they
ultimately said. So the Silence of the Lambs drew them in, but then they went away disappointed. Yeah, I don't see that personally. I think it's as good as a sequel as you can make at this point.
Yeah. Well, they were expecting Jodie Foster, I imagine.
Yeah.
They were expecting probably a better screenplay or a better story, you know.
Yeah.
But
I will say the final scene, because I know Dirk's going to mention an alternative ending in a minute, but the final scene with the Chinese boy I did like.
yeah,
It is very much humorous, but like a dark humor when he offers him the brain to eat.
well, he wants it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He don't offer it to him. He's like, he's looking at him like, what the hell? Like you want some of this? Because he could have anything in his damn tray, but he wants that damn the brains, you know.
And that's what Lecter would do as well, because you would imagine he would take his own food on a plane. He would leave nothing to chance. You know, he says something. He says a line about the food at one point. You know, well, that's not real food that they're serving you on an airplane. And but I do like that. But go on, refresh me on the alternate.
Okay, so I'm gonna back up just a little bit because go on. The original ending before it gets to that part where he gets on the plane, Clarice handcuffs him.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention
because
that.
He slips in for a kiss, right?
Yeah.
And she handcuffs him. And then he's like, well, we're in a situation. He pulls out a meat cleaver, and you're thinking, like, he's going to cut her shit off. He ends up cutting his own hand off because he loves her. Again, like I said, he's, you know, whatever it is, he's in love with her, whether it's reciprocated
definitely.
or not.
100%, yeah.
And then, but in the alternate cut, the alternate ending, she don't handcuff him. He kisses her. She don't kiss him back. And then he just leaves and he's got both his arms. And then you see him where the fireworks.
Remember
seeing you see him walking up from where the fireworks are going off. I don't know if because I kind of thought that too. Was that him setting them fireworks off? I don't know. But in this cut, it's not him. So then he gets in a van that he had waiting for him at like this gas station looking thing. And then he drives off, gets on the plane, and it's the same kind of ending with the kid, you know.
Would you prefer that? The alternate ending?
Yeah, I think so, man. I don't know. I could either way, I guess.
I could have done without the chopping of the hand as well, if I'm honest. I don't think that needed to be in there.
I guess that was just to show his love for her. That's what Ridley Scott was trying to put across pretty hard, you know. So
I mean, as much as I love someone, I'm not giving up my fucking hand for anyone. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, I could have done without that one, but no.
Well, Darren,
this is a great film. Now.
Darren, you've completely shredded this film apart.
I did. It seems like I'm fucking knocking the film. It does. It really does. But I will say, I think that 40 minutes of the fucking giallo action in fucking Florence, the whole fucking look in the Gothic look in Florence, is what draws me back to this film time and time again. I'm not stupid enough to say it's better than Silence, but for me, it's it's slightly above in terms of wanting to go back and rewatch. You know.
Yeah, well, like we always say. I mean, it's all subjective, right? And it's always like there's best and then there's favorite. So you know.
Yeah. I've got a ton of. I don't know if you want to do the comments in a bit. I've got quite a few little points we could go through on.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want. Do you want me to do that now? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any more clips, y'all. So I'm fresh out of clips, but
yeah.
I mean, I got other clips I could play, like this shit here. You know, I think this is a mainstay. It's gonna be here for a while. Hold on, this one here.
You're somewhat annoyed.
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know what it is about that fucking guy, but anyway.
So just a few little things, but the Verger House, right, was the largest privately owned dwelling in the US at the time. 150,000 square feet interior.
150,000, you said?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Dude,
it's
the
stood
biggest,
in like a
biggest,
parkland as well.
yeah, the biggest house I've ever like worked on was 16,000 square
Shit,
foot.
so that tells you, yeah, the magnitude of this place.
150,000. Holy,
Yeah,
that's
it was, and that's just the interior. So the whole fucking place was like 125,000 acres. So this was
damn.
the biggest. Yeah, this was the biggest place at the time. It belonged to a family called the Van der Velts, which were quite a
Okay,
famous
I know. Yeah, I've heard of them
family.
for sure.
And was originally built as a copy of another house that they had in Massachusetts, because these were a really wealthy family. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, damn, that's a. I mean, I thought a 16,000 square foot was a monster house, but
yeah,
that ain't shit. 150,000, holy shit.
Just looking now for some of my other points. I don't want to go through everything because I've got like 5 pages, but so Giancarlo Giannini was the director. Ridley Scott said he was the right age for the part.
Yeah.
And he was one of his favorite Italian directors. He was in a film called Swept Away, which apparently he's superb in.
I've only seen the 2 films, the Libido and Black Belly. So
yeah, the same. And even though just those 2 alone, he's one of my favorite actors. And
yeah,
this,
he's damn good.
Yeah. Just looking through a few things now. Don't want to say too many things. All the actors in Florence, they were basically from Rome. So where you've got the whole police detective, all the young police detectives and all that, they were all Rome-based actors.
Okay.
It gives it kind of, because they didn't want to dub their voices, so that's kind of their real voices, even though they're speaking in English, to give it a more authentic look. So the computer hacking of Patsy was all credible. So by looking at Patsy, like, was trying to get like give away a trace of him, and the writer kind of thought that was kind of credible. I don't know, but where I was going, but yeah, I did have a bit about the whole Patsy family thing, which I'll try and single out. I don't know if you want to say anything first, and I'll read through and see if I can pick it out.
Nah, I pretty much got all my takes down, man, on the film.
Okay. So the library used was actually the Capone library, which you've probably heard of. Yeah, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Monster Florence.
Capote, right?
Yeah, Capone. And like I mentioned earlier, that doorway in the film has actually been there since 1560. So it's even older than I thought. The books in there were so valuable, like Dirk mentioned earlier, they couldn't really do the blood and all that scenes.
Right.
Dating back to the Crusades, actually the documents was actually written by Henry VIII to the Capone family.
Damn.
And what it was, in one of the letters he wrote, he was asking them if he could rent the use of 20,000 troops at the time. So there's a lot of history in this place, and it comes through on screen as well.
Yeah, Florence is ton of history in Florence, man. Like
right. So the Patsy family were an aristocratic family who lost their money 200 years ago. One of the ancestors had suffered death by hanging from the Piazza Vecchio balcony and disemboweled, like we see. The reason being, he had ordered the murder of one of the Medici family, and on the steps of the chapel that they fucking use in the film as well. This all happened in real life, which
all happened there. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going to go on too much. That's a couple of the interesting things that I got. But yeah, man, I was stoked to do this series.
Hell yeah,
it's
man.
Something I've always wanted to do, man.
I'm glad we got it. We got it on the channel. We got it out there. I think we did the best we could do, and I think.
Oh shit, man! I think it's hard to put more fucking stuff than what we said really into this.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I enjoy doing all the
I guess we can get down to the ranking now.
Yeah.
So,
do you want me to go? Do you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Obviously, the lowest, number 5 is Hannibal Rising. I don't think
Yeah.
that's going to be any kind of. Red Dragon would be 4th.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I do like certain things, go back, watch the last show. It's not a patch on Manhunter. So I will, like I said earlier, I'll put Silence and Hannibal as joint second, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Hannibal's probably my favorite up until we started watching these again. I would say there's not much between Hannibal and fucking. I don't know. I'd probably say Hannibal maybe is the one I would go back to most.
Okay.
But Manhunt opened my eyes up watching it this time as well. So I'm completely wimping out here. I should just make up a decision. So I'll go Manhunter. I'll go Manhunter top.
Number 1?
I'll say, I go Manhunter clear number 1. I'd say
Okay.
clear by about half a point. And then we got a joint second. So sorry if that's a long-winded fucking way.
Oh, you're good. No, man. No. And mine's pretty easy, I think, man. I think probably everybody knows, but I'll go ahead and say, man, it's going to be, I'm going to do it this way here. So, Hannibal Rising, number 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still good, though. I like it.
It's a fucking decent film, man.
A lot of people shit on it, but I still like it. And then it's going to be Red Dragon, man. I mean, which is not a horrible film. It's got great actors, good performances. I mean, good production value.
It's more of a mainstream film, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Red Dragon, would you say? It's kind of a more glossy.
Yeah, it's real
mainstream
slick.
type.
Yeah, real slick. And then for me, it's going to be Hannibal.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
coming in at 3rd, but it's not a bad film. And then Manhunter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course, man, Silence of the Lambs is taking the 1 spot. So
that's probably how that's how I would have put like what you said there. Knowing your viewpoints as well.
Yeah, but it's so if I'm gonna rank, I mean, we ranked them. I just ranked the whole series, but so I would give Hannibal Rising. I guess that I give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay, I give that a 6. I think last time, yeah.
And I give Hannibal. I give Red Dragon 6.5. I mean,
okay, I think
it barely edges it out.
Yeah, I give it a 7. I give Red Dragon a 7 last time.
Okay, and then I'm gonna give Hannibal a 7.5, and I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10 because all the things we talked about. Like there's some major flaws for me.
That's a 9 for me, I'll say.
Yeah, right. And then Manhunter, man, is a 9 out of 10 film for sure.
Yeah, definitely 9.5. I'd say.
And then Silence of the Lambs is a 11 out of 10. I mean,
it's a legitimate 10. Yeah.
That's how it goes for me. But
yeah, let us know in the chat like what your rankings are, quick, if anyone wants to write.
Let us know your rank, and if you're watching this in the future, put it in the comments. Hit the like button, man. If you enjoyed this, go back and check out part 1 if you're just now seeing this. Check out our other stuff on the channel, man. We got like the Monster of Florence. If you're into more of the true crime stuff, man, I'd like to do more of it.
I love the fact that that's linked to this film as well.
Yeah,
like
Il Mastro.
Man,
Il Mastro di Forense, right?
Yeah. One of the most bizarre fucking cases you'll ever see. If you've not seen our video on that, our stream on that, then go and check that out.
Because there's a lot of work.
Films as well.
A lot of work done into that. Yeah.
That was a week-long fucking just constantly working on project. Yeah.
Also, I didn't read the book, but I listened to the entire book while I was at work. So on audio. But
we'll have to do an update because I'm going to read that book at some point because I've got it. So we might do like a little mini update or something of how I feel on that and Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
That'd be
Fat
good
Pig.
to do, actually.
I'm late on this comment, but Fat Pig the Connor says the bad guy in Snatch fed people to hogs. Yeah.
Oh God, of course, yeah, yeah. I've not seen that in forever, man.
And we got James Van Dusen. He says, "Great show tonight, gentlemen. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate it, man.
Nice one. Thank you, man. It makes it all worthwhile when you hear that."
Alan says, "Yeah, I got to go back and watch part 1. Great job, fellas. I appreciate it, Alan, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
I
man.
I urge everyone to go back and watch all these. Even Hannibal Rising, you know, you've got to be in the right frame of mind, but
you do get to see if you want. Some people they're not really too bothered about it. But you get to see the origin of Hannibal, of why he is the way he is, you know?
Yeah. And do it in the order that we actually do it as well. Do it in the right order, I would highly recommend, because it makes more sense that way rather than just the time they come out. So, yeah.
Anthony says, excellent show, guys. I appreciate it, Anthony, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Texas says, great job as well. As always, thank you. I appreciate you texting.
Here's text. Yeah. Stalwart of the comment section.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And
I appreciate
Anthony,
everybody,
man. Great to see Anthony come in. Because I know this is more of along the lines of what he's interested in rather than, you know, because we do some obscure Jali and stuff, and I know that's not for everyone. Right. But every one of you guys in the chat have been fantastic, man.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, man, everybody have a good week. And we'll be back next week with the Euro Crypt. We're gonna be we're covering some folk horror. We're covering Blood on Satan's Claw, V, and The Witch from 1966. So if y'all are interested in that, check that out. We'll be simul streaming with Dead Pit, and we'll be deep off in the Euro Crypt in the Dead Pit.
Yeah, I think we got shows planned up until like at least just before Christmas. I mean, I think we got one planned on January the 5th as well. Well, we need to confirm that, but we got the Forgotten Jali box set to come as well just before Christmas. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody once again, and we're gonna get up out of here. So y'all have a good one, man.
Have a good one, guys.